Yo, Longhairs, welcome to episode 97 of Let It Ride, where we talk long hair and business, advocate for hair equality, and celebrate men's long manes with hair whips and high fives. If you're a guy with long hair, welcome home. My name is El Spencerino, and I'm here at the Longhairs Global HQ with El Moreno and El Rubio. We have a very exciting show for you today, but before we get into that, this episode is sponsored by Hair Ties for Guys, the finest hair ties in the world, which hold your hair snugly without creasing, tugging, ripping, breaking, or otherwise mutilating your beautiful, precious hair. Stop using cheap, crummy hair ties that snap and rip your hair out. Tie up your locks with Hair Ties for Guys just once, and we promise you will be a believer. You can find these and other superior products for men with long hair at www.thelonghairs.us. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. Our guest today is a man that has served several tours of duty overseas in the United States military. He is quick with a joke or to light up your smoke, and even quicker with a gun. He looks like Jason Momoa if Jason Momoa were to step up his gym game. My friends, I am pleased to introduce Jose El Sicario Mejia. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Audio.
Yes.
What's up, bro?
I just want to add that's the first time I'm actually hearing my L name. So
yes, I told him about it just before we started. I'm like, dude, I want you to know it fucking fits. By
that's
the way,
dope,
too.
man. That's
Rolls
dope.
off the tongue.
It
That's
does. El Sicario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Full send on that one.
Now Jose and I, for those of you who didn't hear about us on the previous podcast, he and I met at a photo shoot a little over a month ago, and he and I were able to get to know each other very, very well. But I think for the rest of us out there, tell us about yourself. Where are you from, and which branch did you serve in, and what was your MOS?
So I'm from Chula Vista, which is where we're sitting right now.
South Bay?
Yeah, South
Local
Bay
boy.
all day. Yeah, so I was born and raised here, and I'm just typical San Diego kid.
Yeah.
Funny thing though, I didn't actually appreciate living here until I joined the military and left. And then when I ended up somewhere that's definitely not here, I was like, man, I want to go back. What was I thinking?
Right?
Dude.
I was so excited, I can't wait to get out of here, man. And now it's like, no, I can't wait to go home.
Yeah.
This is home.
Yeah.
But born and raised, did the whole childhood and teenage years here, and then I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school.
Hoorah!
And a lot of that was just I was kind of I was the runt of my family, which might be hard to believe.
Wow.
I was a late.
Yes.
Let's say I was a late bloomer.
Right.
Yes.
And so I really grew in that last couple years. I had this huge growth spurt. And so I was really insecure and unsure of myself, and I thought I needed to prove to everybody I was tough, and I also always admired the military because my grandfather, where I get my island genes from, he's a Chamorro man, and he joined the Navy, and that's a whole another story. What inspired him to join the Navy? It's actually pretty deep, but anyway, so I always grew up wanting to be a sailor or something, and then I grew up watching, because we went to Afghanistan in 2001, and then we went to Iraq in 2003, and that's a whole nother conversation about whatever politics. But anyway, I would run home and to turn on the TV and look at what's going on over there, and I don't know if maybe a lot of island cultures talk about the warrior spirit, and if you look at the Maori or even Polynesian, they do the haka, dude. Oh my god, bro! And if I watch a haka, dude, I sweat. And I think that I was born with a warrior spirit, and so part of me was I got to go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I enlisted, and initially I actually wanted to be in the Navy because I was kind of scared still. I was Marines kind of scared me. And then
And they should.
yeah, and so my parents refused to take me to the recruiter, so I got my best friend at the time to drive me. And then we're in the parking lot. It's actually where the recruiter used to be, right off of H Street.
Yeah.
You know, it's
right here.
Yeah. And so I was walking up, and I was trying to go to the Navy office, and then this Marine Corps staff sergeant comes out to smoke a cigarette, and he's in full just dress blues, ribbons, medals, dude, and I'm just like, oh man, like, and I tried to like not look at him, but I was raised to have respect, so I said, oh, good morning, sir, and he's like, oh, what's up, man? And so I went and I tried to pull on the door to the recruiter's office for the Navy, and it was locked.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're not there, huh? And I was like, no, sir, they're not. He's like, yeah, those lazy bastards are always late. He's like, you like to be on time, huh? And I was like, yes, yes, sir. It's what that's like respectful. And he's like, cool. And then he's like, come and talk to me for a second. And that was it.
No way.
I looked at him, dude. And this guy was just like hard as woodpecker lips, like just, you know what I mean, like multiple tours and just like cut from granite and like and that was it. That's it. Like he got the hooks in me, man, and then like I enlisted, and
not that day. You didn't sign that day.
No, not that day, but like that
you were
was,
in. You were.
That's it, dude. I
wasn't
gonna go anywhere else. I was like, I want to look like him,
Yeah.
you know. And so I went through the enlistment process, and my recruiter. So he was the senior recruiter, but my actual recruiter, who was assigned to me, was an infantryman. He was a mortarman, so that's called an 0341, right? And so I got lucky because he could see that I had that like angst in me. Like, I need to go fight. I need to prove myself, right? And once again, as I said before, I thought I had to prove to everybody else that I was tough. And so I enlisted, and I just wanted to be in the infantry, just regular 0311 rifleman. I just want to go fight. And,
ground pounders.
Yeah. And I got really lucky because there was a slot open to go try to be what's called an 0321, a reconnaissance Marine. And to be honest, I'd only ever really heard of like recon in passing because it's like not really talked about very much.
Everybody knows about the SEALs. Everybody knows
SEALs
about Special
and
Forces,
Rangers,
all of that.
and we especially today with Hollywood and video games, we have like this boner for special operations guys.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
And it's funny because a little known secret, well, not a secret, but something that a lot of people don't realize is like those guys, they're super trained, super proficient, like they do crazy stuff. But if you just want to fight, you need to be in the infantry. That's what the only purpose that the infantry serves is to fight. That's it. Like, do you guys know who Miyamoto Musashi was?
Sounds familiar, but
So he's the most legendary Japanese swordsman.
okay.
And he pioneered fighting with two katanas at once.
So
And
the guy you don't want to mess with.
And he wrote all these doctrines, and he left behind this legacy that lasts till today, right? And so he has a saying. He has many sayings, but the one that resonates with me, it says, the only reason a warrior trains is to fight, and the only reason a warrior fights is to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like the life of the rifleman is like you exist for one purpose. It's to crush the enemy. You know, whether you're a rifleman, a machine gunner, a mortarman, sniper, whatever. And that's what I wanted to do. And then I found out like, oh, you can actually take this chance to be a reconnaissance Marine. It's like, wow, what is that? I even asked him like, what does that mean? You know, he's like, well, I said like, will I go fight? He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, guy.
and I was like, all right, I'll do that. And I was like, is it hard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like this 18-year-old kid, right? And he's like, yeah. Oh yeah, it's hard. And I was like, okay,
All right, good, because I just want to make sure it's really hard.
yeah.
I need to be hurt.
Check.
Right? You're good.
And so I was like, cool, I'll do that. Right. So then I did, boot camp, infantry school, and then I showed up to reconnaissance training company. And this was in 2009 when all this happened. And dude, hard was not the right word. Dude, there needs to be another word that describes what that experience was, because hard is not sufficient. It was
Hellacious.
dude. I think about going through the training to become a recondo, and it's like I would rather be in gunfights than do that shit again.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Speaks volumes.
because the reconnaissance Marines are the guys that, like, the Marine Corps kind of has that like mythos of like, oh, Marines.
Sure. Yeah.
Because if someone says, "Oh, I was in the Marine Corps," you don't think like, "Oh, that's cool. Were you like a clerk typist?"
You're right. No.
No. Oh shit, bro! Like you were in the Marines. Dude?
Yeah.
Like that's just what. The
It's
Marine Corps
every Marine is a
combat.
badass. Like
Right.
you're not.
But recondos,
No soft position.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
recondos are the guys that like became Marines, and they're like, that was cool, but like, what else you got?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
what else is,
Okay.
let me get some more out of this experience. And like, pretty much like they're like sadomasochists and like I like pain and I want to inflict pain.
Okay.
You
On
know?
myself.
Yeah. And so and it's just like, I mean, I remember day one, you show up and like they literally like, we're not getting out of this pool until half of you quit. And so it's like, that's going to be 2 hours or 6 hours. You guys get to decide.
Oh.
And
Day
then,
one.
Day one. Because they want to weed out the kids that like, they're either the recruiter just hooked them up to get like their quota, or they played too much Call of Duty and they thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, man, this is the real deal. This is like not a joke. And you're gonna go downrange, which means like you're gonna deploy, and it's gonna be very real. And it's not Call of Duty. And so if you're here just because you think it sounds cool, this is not the place for you. You know. And so like I think I started with I don't know how many kids, but then by the time we actually got to we weren't even in the school yet. This was the prerequisite training to be qualified to go to the school.
Wait, how long did the pool situation last?
On day one,
Hour and a half.
no, it was like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my
Dang.
god.
Are you treading too,
Yeah, that's
or you're
treading.
just
Everything,
All
treading,
different stuff.
laps.
Okay.
Basically calisthenics in water.
They'll do and
No air.
and like I said, it's not
4
hard
hours.
just to be hard. It's literally like because they want to see how you're gonna react when you're not winning.
yeah,
Because when you're gunfighting, whatever, and you're winning, that's you're doing
That's
a good
easy.
job because you're winning.
yeah,
But they want to know what happens when you're not in control, when you're not winning, and because that's when dudes start to get hurt. And so they'll do crazy things. Like you guys will tread in a circle, and then they'll hand you a brick, and all right, pass the brick, and you're treading.
What?
Pass the brick.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's 2 bricks. Here's 3 bricks. Here's 6 bricks. And then they'll throw a rubber rifle and it goes down 15 feet, and they'll be like, "You go." And then you pass your brick, and they say, "Did I tell you to pass your brick? Take it with you." And then you go down with your 10-pound brick, and then you have this other thing, and you have to like swim up with just your feet and just crazy stuff. That like if you're proficient, like if I do that to like a water polo guy, he'll probably figure
Their
it out.
technique,
Yeah.
there's a way to do it.
But
Not
like
that it
when
makes
you're
it easy, but it makes it possible.
yeah, when you're 18 and like you miss your dog and you're scared, like, you know what I'm saying?
You're like about to drown.
Yeah,
You're
and
like
so-
about to drown in another 5 seconds.
But
So-
that's what they want.
Yeah,
They
and
want
so-
you to panic or to avoid panicking.
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
Essentially, they want to make you panic and drown proof. And so, well, it's a little bit different now. Like they've actually changed it, I think, for the better. It's a lot more science and like science-based and efficient training. But back then it was just brutality. and
all goes.
yeah, and honestly, like I'm not saying it was even a bad thing because I eventually deployed, which we'll get to, but like, and I got into some pretty hairy situations, but I never panicked. And it's not because like I'm a badass. It's because I was literally trained not to panic.
Yeah.
And there's a saying, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training.
I
So
love that.
if you're not prepared, and
Yeah.
that's not gunfighting only, that's business. You guys are
Sure.
businessmen, right? If you're getting overwhelmed and like, oh my God, like our logistics is all jacked up. And,
yeah.
oh crap, like COVID-19, our supply chain's screwed. It's like, what are you gonna do? Panic, or are you gonna figure it out? Hey, dude, look, let's get to work, man. Let's figure it out,
Yeah.
right? And so, so while I was there, it's called Reconnaissance Indoctrination Platoon, or RIP. And then
Great.
they-
R.I.P.
yeah,
Bro.
and then they'll take by the time we were able to like take what's called the indoctrination to get into the schoolhouse, there was like 15 of us left, and then
Dang.
2 of us didn't make it through that. So after all that, 2 guys still failed at the end, and then we got into the school, and then you just learn like it's so much, man, because they turn you into a Marine commando pretty much. That's why they're called recondos, reconnaissance commandos.
Okay.
And so then you learn like guerrilla warfare, small unit tactics, camouflage. Like you learn how to build antennas. You learn radios. You learn demolitions. You learn how to do like all kinds of crazy like secret squirrel stuff.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
then-
learn how to build a ghillie suit?
Yes. No. Well, kind of. So ghillie suits are mainly for like snipers, but you do learn like more advanced camouflaging techniques, and then but the actual ghillie stuff, at least like I said, I went through it in 2009, which is actually kind of a long time ago now. So like maybe they do it now, but while I was there, not really.
Okay.
They teach you a little bit, but then it's kind of more like, hey, if you get to go to sniper school, this is what you're going to learn there. But you have so much to cover in 3 months that they're not going to waste their time with stuff that you don't need.
Yeah.
And then you learn a lot of amphibious stuff. So like everybody's seen like the Discovery Channel, like Navy SEAL shows where they're like carrying the Zodiacs and stuff. So it's actually like a gentlemanly
portrayal
rivalry that we have with those guys.
Okay.
Okay.
We actually train at the same place too, over in Coronado.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you see them with their like rubber duckies running, and like we have Zodiacs too, but ours are actually 100 pounds heavier.
Really?
Yes, and we're running right next to them, and even though they're heavier, our instructors are like, if those SEALs beat you,
No shit.
Hell.
Yeah.
hell to pay.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Navy, take
yeah.
note. The Marines are beating.
But anyway, so I got through all that. I actually made it, and then I learned a lot about myself. And one of the things I learned, hindsight's 2020. I wasn't trying to prove to everyone else that I was tough. I was proving to myself.
Yeah.
Because I was that bullied, scrawny kid, and now it's like, who the fuck are they, and who the fuck am I now?
Right.
Yeah.
You know. And I mean, dude, to get into gunfights, you have to have some audacity to be like, that guy wants me to die for my country, but I'm gonna make him die for his country.
Yeah.
And that's like really morbid, right? Like overall, I believe war is a terrible thing, and it should be an absolute last resort, because human life is precious, right? But it's a thing I did, and so that's why, within the context of this conversation, I'm saying like that's what it's like.
Yeah.
And so I did 2 deployments to Afghanistan. I was at 2nd Reconnaissance Battalion, first and foremost. So that's in North Carolina. And that's when I left, right? Because all that training I just talked about is here at Pendleton and at Coronado.
Okay.
So then I was stationed in North Carolina, and I don't ever want to go back there. They have beaches and stuff, but it's not the same, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like swampy and muggy and just... and it's just nothing compares to this place, dude.
Can I ask a question real
Sure,
quick before
send
we
it.
get into the actual deployment and what it's like out there? Why is it that kind of the Navy SEALs are like famous, I guess, and then the Recon Marines are no one really like puts them in that same category?
Yeah. So
It's the name, dude. SEALs. Come on.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
question. It's a great question. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, we're just as good or better than SEALs.
Sure.
Are. It's like comparing an apple to an orange.
Every
And
group has their purpose, right? They
Right.
serve totally different missions and everything.
and being totally objective, right? Because I know a lot of SEALs, and they're great dudes, really solid dudes. But I think if I had to pick something, the Marine Corps has this identity crisis, I think, where the Marine Corps is not a military branch, by the way. It's a cult. Okay. like the Air Force is a corporation, the Army and the Navy are military, and the Marine Corps is a cult. Okay.
Let's be real. The Air Force is a country club.
Yeah. And so the Marine Corps is like very adamant about not one person in the Marine Corps is special. Everyone's the same. That's why they say every Marine is a rifleman. But in reality, most Marines can't shoot worth a piss in the wind. Like, it is embarrassing, because that's just not their job. They're a mechanic, or they do paychecks. Like,
They're an accountant.
they're an accountant, which is fine. We need those guys, because I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Those guys are necessary, but they don't want anyone to be special. But in reality, Recon Marines get special training, right? We are technically a special operations force, right? Not at the same level as like some of these other units, right? But because of that, for a long time, and like I said, it's actually getting a lot better now, which is great. I'm not one of those like, we didn't do that when I was in.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
no, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad these guys are getting all that. But anyway, the Marine Corps didn't want to treat recondos special, so then there was like, we didn't get the same funding that SEALs get. We didn't get the same attention that Rangers get, all that stuff. And so there was a lot of years, decades of just being held back when they could be truly great as a unit. And then because of that, nobody really hears about recondos even today, right? But then you hear about SEALs and Rangers and all the other like tier 1 units and stuff. So then that's why like SEALs, on top of being like spectacular warfighters, they're also like there. Like people know they're there. They know about them. They're on freaking Discovery Channel,
Right.
you know, stuff like that.
Movies are made
But
about
like,
them.
but like, if I tell someone like, "Oh, I was a reconnaissance guy," and they're like, "What's that?" It's like,
Most people don't realize that's the special forces.
yeah. I mean, it's like on the lower end of the totem pole for special forces, but still, it is technically a special force, and you do highly specialized training. You know, we have guys that go to Halo and all the advanced sniper courses and everything that those other guys do. We do it too, right? And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm special too, boys. But it's like, no, they're capable warfighters. I mean, dude, you don't want to be on the business end of a reconnaissance team, dude.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I would not want to get on the wrong side of Jose.
No.
That man will turn my head
Stay
into
on the
a
right
canoe.
side.
Yeah.
I do have one question about
Send
the
it.
training. A lot of these are super specialized. Some of them are highly technical or complex training modules. Do some of them last one day and some of them last like a week? Like how long do some of these trainings last? And then I imagine if there's technical stuff, you have to have manuals or books or stuff. Like
Yeah. So
how in depth are some of these have to be?
yeah. So like the stuff like the reconnaissance course, it's called basic reconnaissance course because you're kind of covering like a lot of stuff in 3 months. But like the first, and like I said, this is the last time I'm going to say this. This was a long time ago, and I'm sure the schoolhouse is different now. But while I was there, the first month was all like field skills and like demolitions and stuff like that. So like you learn how to build what's called a hide site, and you learn how to you learn advanced like camouflage stuff. You learn how to like different patrolling techniques, like stuff that of course like is that basic infantry guys will do, but like not at the same level, because an infantry squad might be 20 plus guys. A reconnaissance team can be as little as 4 guys, right? In Afghanistan, my team was 6 dudes, but then we always had a second team with us, so then we were like 10 guys, right?
Okay.
My second deployment, we were 4 guys.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
scary.
that changes things, man. Because if you have a dude go down and you're a 4-man team, that's 25% of your manpower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the second month for us was the amphibious portion, and that's where you learn how to do all the like the water stuff and inserting with the boats at night and all the cool guy stuff. And you learn how to you learn how to
Cool
like
guy
fin.
stuff.
You learn how to use like the fins in the ocean and
Yeah.
and you might have this pack that weighs 120 pounds, but you know how to make it float. And so you literally are like, you have your pack and your rifle and you're just finning, and it's like pitch black, and you literally have people pass by on their boats and shit,
No
and
way.
they have
Yeah.
no idea you're
That's
there.
nuts.
Wow.
Okay, so
it's
wait,
like a boogie board.
Pause. Like, so
Yeah.
do they teach you that once and you have one night? All right, and you know how to do that?
No, so it's like
They have to
you'll-
keep rolling it in.
They'll
down
cover
the-
it, yeah, and then like it's like for that whole month you're covering these techniques, and then you go out and do it and over and over and they like beat it into you.
Yeah.
And especially because if you don't become proficient, you're out, bro.
Yeah.
They're not holding your hand. It's like, hey man, you know what, dude? Whatever it is you're deficient in, go to the supermarket and find it. But this isn't it for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then when you get to your battalion, that's when you do the more like
specialized.
yeah. So then you can go to like Scout Sniper Basic course. You can go to jump school, which is actually super easy. But then.
Right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just jump out of a damn plane. The fucking plane even opens the parachute for you. But then,
It's
of
idiot
course, after that, you can do like Halo, Hey Ho, like all that other stuff, the cool shit that you see, like the guys free falling in with their gear on and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but see, like there's like levels to everything, because you can do like Scout Sniper Basic course, and then after that, there's like Mountain Sniper and Urban Sniper and now they just started Reconnaissance Sniper and all this stuff, and like it gets really really technical. And then there's like signal courses like with radios and stuff, and so it just gets like more and more specialized. And all of these schoolhouses are like months long, and they vary obviously, but like Scout Sniper is several months, but like basic jump school is like 3 weeks I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you just learn as much as you can, because your team is so small that you have to be an asset. And that's one of the things that I took with me in life, is like, if I walk into a room, I need to bring something into that room.
Sure.
I don't want to be the guy. And I mean, first and foremost, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room, because I want to learn. If I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm not learning.
In the wrong room.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if I take on a mentor or something, I still need to bring something to the table. I don't want to just be dead weight. And that's something I learned being a recondo. It's like, hey, dude, you earn your right to be on this team. You're not given, hey, bro, you're going to be on with those guys. It's like, no. what are you gonna do that's gonna make you valuable to them? Because if it's nothing, then get the fuck out of here. You know?
Yeah.
That's what they told me my first day on the job here, actually.
Yeah, good. I hope it was those exact words.
It actually was, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I finally got through all the training, and then I did my first deployment to a place called Sangin Valley. This was in 2011. My battalion actually went at the end of it was December of 2010, and but we had a guy that passed away, and so I was sent to be what's called his combat replacement, and so that was my first deployment. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of deep, because when you deploy as the big group, you know, hey, we're going to a fucked up place. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a whatever. I'm a fucking recondo. I know what I'm going here for. Right. And so but you know, hey, I'm probably gonna get in some shit, but you don't know what kind of shit. Versus when you're deploying, I was literally one guy. And I was showing up, and I knew, hey, I'm going because someone passed away, and I'm replacing him. I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm getting into, right? And so I was there for 5 months, and it was fucking just the Wild West, dude, just crazy. And in fact, unless it's changed, Sangin Valley is considered the most violent part of the whole Afghanistan conflict.
Really?
Yeah. And it was just craziness, dude.
Now, what was your mission there? Were you guys taking out some targets?
Yeah,
or what?
We were given what's called an AO, like an area of operation, and that was like a high traffic area for the Taliban.
Okay.
So it was and I'm really dumbing this down, right? But essentially it was our job to be the biggest fucking thorn in their side as we could, and literally just crush everything that we could. Yeah. As far as the Taliban was concerned. I know I just butchered that, but essentially it was hurt them. Hurt them more than they hurt us.
Right. Your job was to smash or marginally disrupt organized crime in Afghanistan.
And a lot of people don't even realize, they think that we went to Afghanistan. And trust me, I'm a firm believer that we should never have been there as long as we have.
Sure.
And I'm a big fan of pulling everything out now. But at the same time, I had a fucking job to do.
When you're there, it's your job, and that's what you're doing.
Right.
So they think that we went to Afghanistan, and then these poor Afghani people are what do you do? Oh, we got to defend ourselves, right? But no, there are two governments in Afghanistan. There's the government, and then there's the Taliban. Yeah. And so it was our job to crush the Taliban and help the actual supposedly democratic government, right? And so that was our job. I literally worked side by side with Afghani army guys. Yeah. It's not like the army was fighting against us. We were fighting with them against the Taliban, right? And so, and then most of the Taliban that we encountered weren't even from Afghanistan. They were from Pakistan, right? They were invaders too. Yeah. Right. And so it gets it's so complicated. Plus, Afghanistan is like the place where empires go to die, because it's inconquerable. No one can conquer that place. Those people are hard. Their entire way of life is honestly foundationally built on warfare. Even their tribal system, because you might have this guy, and they both look Afghani. They both are Afghani, but this guy's Pashtun and this guy's Dari, and they will never get along. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And it is a strange, at least to me in my American eyes, it is a strange way of life, dude, out there, and it's just wild. And anyway, so Sangin was a crazy experience, dude, and anything I thought I knew about myself, that, of course I had already done this crazy training, but it's just training, right? That is okay, there's no canopy, dude. There's no safety net. Yeah. Right? This is for real, and you're either coming home or you're not. Yeah. And I think that when I came back from that experience, that was I was now a man. That was my baptism. Okay.
Baptism by fire. Yeah, for sure.
And then the next year I deployed again, and I mainly worked in a place called Nowzad, and that was very violent as well, but not the same. And I had a lot of very profound, some good, a lot of bad life experiences there too, and I learned a lot about myself. And then I got out right after that. I know I'm glancing over a lot of stuff, but I could talk this whole podcast just about that.
Yeah.
And because I really want to get to my long hair journey, right? It's very important to me.
No, for sure.
And so,
dude, we're all ears though. We have no time rut there. We're
Okay.
chilling.
Yeah.
We're just
hanging.
cruising,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Wait, I do have just a couple of questions. I think Chris maybe had a question too. You were kind of looking like you had something you wanted to ask.
I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
I think he is just in awe.
Yes, I'm not gonna fall
Being
struck.
honest.
I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a normal dude.
Okay, you
I'm a
say
guy
that.
I'm a guy that did a cool thing, man.
What I wanted to ask was on that first deployment, you're the
Yeah.
one guy going out, you're replacing the other guy. Did they just was it like, okay, boom, hit the ground running, here's the team, here's the mission, here's what we're doing, and you're just out like next couple days, or how does
Yeah.
that kind of work? And then can you walk us through some actual situations, or just maybe we understand. I think where we're we all have heard about stories and listened to other podcasts and stuff, but want to hear what was the day when you're like, oh shit, this is holy shit, we're really fighting now, I'm really in it, your training's kicking in,
Yeah. So I had 2 days. They kind of go hand in hand like that. The first day was, I was still stateside at my unit, and I was in what's called a pre-sniper course. So I wasn't in sniper school. I was training at my unit, and the training is held by snipers that are from our unit. And it's like a 2-week thing where essentially they put you through like a mini sniper course, and then if you pass that and you show at least some modicum of proficiency, then you will become eligible to go to actual Scout Sniper Basic course. So that was because I didn't go on the deployment. It was like, okay, what are you gonna not feel? You're gonna feel sorry for yourself, bro? No, keep training.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go, dude. That way, when the next one comes around, you're gonna be indispensable.
Right.
And so, and the reason why I got left behind was because I was the most junior operator in in the company. So the company was like 100 dudes, right, or roughly, and you can't just take as many guys as you want on a deployment. You have to take a certain number of dudes.
Okay.
And so because our company was over that number, they had to start picking guys. Hey, you can't go, you can't go. And I was literally the guy with the least amount of experience. So, I wasn't even mad about it. It's like, no, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Why
totally.
would they take me and I don't know shit versus this guy who has experience?
Yeah.
And so then when they left, I told myself, hey, I need to keep learning so that next time, a year from now or whatever, when we go again, I'm going to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so I got in this pre-sniper, and then I was doing that, and then I passed the pre-sniper, right? And so now, of course, the next step was to put my name in the ring. Throw my hat in the ring?
Yeah.
Yep.
Throw my hat in the ring to go to sniper school.
Yeah.
And then I actually got what's called a nom, which means I got a school seat, and
Okay.
I'm going to go now. And then I was at the barracks, and someone knocked on my door, and it was my buddy, and he was like, "Hey man, gunny," which means gunnery sergeant. That's like the platoon non-commissioned officer, right? He's like, "Hey, gunny wants to see you at the office," and I was like, "Fuck," because normally that's not good news.
Yeah.
That means you probably messed up or something, right? And so I was like, "Oh no," and I'm like, "Oh, what did I do?" Oh my God, I didn't turn something in. I didn't turn one of my gear pieces in. Oh, I'm so in so much trouble. I'm walking. I didn't even have a car. I'm walking down this tank trail to the office. And so I show up and I'm walking through this big battalion headquarters, and I'm going to the office, and then he comes out as I'm about to walk in, and he's like, "Oh, my last name's Mejia, right?" So he's like, "Mejia, I'm looking for you." And I was like, "Oh, yes, gunnery sergeant." And he said, "Hey," so at this point, the news of the Marine Sean Osterman that had passed away had already circulated back to the United States. Because, of course, his family has to find out first, and then everybody else finds out.
Okay.
So at this point, everybody had found out already. And he said, "Hey, so you're aware that Corporal Osterman passed away?" And I said, "Yes, gunny." And he said, "Well, they need a combat replacement, and since you were previously on that team, they're calling you up, your number came up,
Okay.
to go replace him."
Yeah.
And I was like, I realized what was happening, but at the same time, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I know you have your sniper school seat." So he's like, "Right now, just between you and me," and mind you, that gunnery sergeants are I was a corporal at the time, so like he's way higher than me.
Okay.
And he was one of those like fucking like one of those like tough as woodpecker lips kind of guys. And so he was normally like really hard, dude.
Yeah.
And this was one of those like he was kind of like being more of like a mentor.
Sure.
So he said, right now, just between you and me, he's like, no one will ever know. Do you want to go to combat or do you want to go to sniper school? And I said, Gunny, this is not a question.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to Afghanistan. And he fucking reached out and shook my hand, dude.
No way.
And I was just like, and so, yeah. And so like I like shook his hand, and that was it. And that was one of those like, oh shit.
Okay.
I'm going to Afghanistan, dude.
It just got real.
And so he's like, go back to your barracks room. He's like, I don't know like what the timeline's gonna be, but I'm gonna let first sergeant, which is like above him, know that you're going. And he's like, just start packing up.
So and it's like fast. Like this is happening 48 hours, 72 hours.
Well,
something
it depends
like
because they have to put you like on the flight, and then there's a shitload of. I mean, you're talking about thousands of guys. Logistics. So, because you're not just taking like a flight with just you on it.
No, right.
They had to figure out how to get me on a flight over there.
Yeah.
And then so like I went from like, and I'm glancing over a lot of stuff right now, but like I went from like Cherry Point, North Carolina. I was at Lejeune, but the air station is Cherry Point, and so I went from like Cherry Point, North Carolina to Germany, and then Germany to Kyrgyzstan or Kyrgyzstan, and then from Kyrgyzstan to Afghanistan. And then there, I had to link up with the rear echelon for my battalion. And then they're like, okay, hey, hang out here for a couple days, and then we're going to get you on a convoy, like a 12-hour convoy to go from Leatherneck to this place called Favnole, and then Favnole to, boom. And so it's like just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And then, and the whole way, I'm just like, I don't know, just anticipation, dude.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to Sangin Valley.
Yeah.
And so finally I showed up to a FOB is a forward operating base, so it's not like a huge place. It's kind of like an impromptu base.
Yeah.
And,
like temporary everything, right? Yeah.
It's not like this massive fortress.
Right.
It's impenetrable, right? It's like it's big enough where like you have some modicum of security, but not big enough where the Taliban's like, I'm not fucking with that.
Right.
No. Yeah. Shoot an RPG at him, like fuck him.
Yeah.
And so finally I get to my FOB, and like I said, I'm what's called the boot, like just no experience, and these guys are like, you can just see it in their faces, they're hard, dude. Like, and I know all of them already, but like, they had been in Sangin for a couple months already. They've been fighting. They just lost the guy. Like, it's this thing, like, and I had to like earn my place, and so. Right away, it's like, hey, dude, go do this, go do that, get all your shit together. Yeah. And then it's like, hey, we're gonna do a patrol in 2 days, or tomorrow, or like whatever. Yeah. And total transparency, because I absolutely detest people that embellish their military service. I really didn't get along well with them at all. Yeah. Over the whole deployment, like literally, like 2 guys like me. Yeah. And there was a lot of miscommunication and a lot of resentment towards me and a lot of stuff. And like, it is neither here nor there, right? If you really want the real story, then you have to ask them, dude. And but at the end of the day, I was there, I did my fucking job, dude. And so I did my first op, I don't know, I mean, this was like 10 years ago now, so maybe let's say like 2 days or 3 days later after I got to the FOB, right? Dang. And within the first 30 minutes of that op, a guy died.
No way.
And that was the next, like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is real, dude.
Yeah.
Not even 30 minutes in.
One of your guys.
One of my guys. Not, and he was above me, but one of my
one of the
teammates
guys on your team
passed away. His name was Matthew DeYoung.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that was just like, fuck, man. It's real. Yeah. Yeah. Because I hadn't even been shot at yet.
Right.
And he stepped on an IED, and that's how he passed away. But that's a whole nother, like, when someone's shooting at you, it's like, all right, let's go, dude. Let's fucking go, bro. But like,
entirely different.
But an IED is like, they left that there who knows how long ago. They're gone.
Yeah.
There's no one to shoot at. Yeah. And so that was like that big, like, holy shit, dude, this is real. Yeah. And then the next day, I think we got into contact, where we got into a gunfight, and that was like my first gunfight. And it was like, dude, it's happening.
Yeah.
You know. And then for the next like 5-ish months, because I showed up late, right? So the next like normally Marine Corps deployments are 7 months, but I showed up late, so I was there for 5 months, and it was just gunfights after gunfight, just crazy shit, dude.
Wow.
And it's just this crazy, like, almost like this primal, like this is a level of humanity. It is a human thing, warfare, because it's existed since the beginning of time. They're fighting 10,000-year-old skeletons with arrowheads in their freaking bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't like I said, I don't idolize warfare, right? But it is one of those things that we need to accept is to be human. Is conflict. Yeah. Right? And so it's this crazy primal thing, dude. Like, I don't even know that guy's name. Right. He's trying to shoot me. Like, okay. All right, dude, let's go. Yeah. And when you're in a gunfight, dude, it is this crazy cocktail of hormones, just adrenaline and testosterone and, dude, dopamine, like crazy. And you don't feel pain. Yeah. And it's literally like when you get that fucking battle madness in you, dude, and it's like, I'm ready to go right now. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And it's like this intense, like, I feel like my Chamorro warrior ancestors are like 1,000 years ago fucking whacking each other with clubs made from palm trees. You know? And it's like, what that guy felt, I'm feeling right fucking now, dude. Yeah. And it's this crazy, intense, just, there is no experience in life that is the same. It is the most potent drug you could possibly imagine. Yeah. And a lot of guys struggle, dude, after the fact, because nothing makes you feel that way again. And that's why a lot of service members will die like motorcycle crashes or like otherwise adrenaline seeking.
Because they're going crazy on their bike or whatever.
Dude, it affects your body so harshly that they have service members that get out and their testosterone levels are so low that it's like they don't even produce testosterone anymore. Wow. Because of the crazy like cocktail that's like that battle madness cocktail, dude, that happens in your body. And like you like guys are like non-existent T levels and there's this whole science about what's called blast-induced neurotrauma, and I experienced that a lot. So essentially, explosions happen, and the shock wave rattles your brain, and it's like getting a concussion every time. Right. And so, for example, Dr. Bennett Umalu, who's the guy that broke the lid on the concussion thing for the NFL. Yeah. After the NFL, he started studying veterans, and he was finding guys that had CTE that was so severe it was like they were professional football players. Wow. Yeah.
From blast waves.
Blast waves.
Not even a physical.
Yeah, anything. Falling, smashing your head on something. And like when I was in the Marine Corps, I got like 6 concussions. Jesus. And one of them I lost consciousness. Yeah. Man.
And was that actually from a blast wave, or did you?
So the one I lost consciousness was not. We were on what's called a mounted patrol, so like in vehicles, and we were taking contact, and the guy that was driving the truck I was in, he just gunned the gas. I mean, what are you gonna do? You want to just sit there, right? Right. So he gunned the gas, and like I was moving. I was in the turret, and I had an M240 Bravo in the turret. It's like a machine gun, shoots big fat bullets. Yeah. And so I'm like trying to turn the gun to like aim, and then so like my attention was here, and I didn't expect him to gun the gas like that. So when he gunned it, my head went back and I smashed my head against the steel panel behind me. Shit. And then like I like leaned forward, and then I remember waking up and like I'm leaning on my gun.
Oh my god. Yeah. And you had a helmet on too?
I had a helmet on, but like those are like ballistic helmets. They're not for blunt force trauma.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I did those 2 deployments, and like I said, I could sit here and talk to you for hours about that alone. But like, I got out, I want to say 6 months after my second deployment, and then I struggled hard, dude, with post-traumatic stress and the whole like blast-induced trauma shit. Yeah. And I gained 60 pounds. I couldn't get I literally for a year was unemployable. Like I couldn't keep an appointment. Yeah. I applied everywhere, dude. I got desperate. I was applying at like Walmart, and no shame to people that work at Walmart, but like, sure. Like I had this vision of like, oh, I'll go be like a cop, or I'll go, do something. I'll go to college, right? But like to the point where like I couldn't even get hired at like 7-Eleven, and like my girlfriend dumped me and like all this stuff. I was just doing real bad, and then I kind of started to turn it around. I started losing weight. I applied to like SCPD and Chula Vista PD, and then finally San Diego Sheriff's picked me up, and so I was a deputy for 2 years, and that was good. Like it kind of got me back into this like regimen of like, discipline and whatever
Training.
And I really excelled as a deputy. I got awards. I was only there for 2 years. I got multiple awards.
Nice.
I actually helped write new sheriff's department doctrine
As
a
a San Diego County sheriff.
Yeah, San Diego County. I worked at
Yeah.
I worked at George Bailey. It's like right by the border, No Time Mesa.
Okay.
And I had a great experience. I met some really solid dudes. I also met a lot of shitbags.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm all about total transparency. And, you know, as everyone listening to this knows, we do have some issues with law enforcement in the country.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys, like, I'm a neutral. I support law enforcement because I know there are really solid people that really want to do a good job and protect their community. And it's a hard job, dude. Sometimes it's an impossible situation.
Yeah.
And whatever decision they made, it was just going to end up bad.
It's always going bad.
But there are some scumbags that are called bullies with badges, and they're just as corrupt as the gang members that they're arresting, and they're pieces of shit, and they make everyone else look bad. And, I think that you can't have, or I'm not saying you can't have one without the other, like we need the shitheads, but I'm saying you can't say they're all bad and you can't say they're all good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You need to be logical about it.
Yeah, and I have more comments about that, but no, that's not what we're here for, right? So, and so, one day I realized I'm kicking ass at this cop thing. I've already gotten awards, and I have friends here, and I'm doing great, but I don't want to do this with my life.
Yeah.
Like this isn't fulfilling me.
Okay.
And I had this desire to like be wild again.
Okay.
So let's say a private military contracting company made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Really? Did they seek? How they find you?
I knew guys there.
Oh, okay.
And so one guy was like,
no.
One guy was like, hey man, I know you're not happy there. You need to come do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. You know, retirement, and he's like, fuck retirement. and then he's like, I know that you're not even gonna make it that far. He's like, you hate it that bad. And I was like, you're right. You know. And so that company reached out to me, and you know, like I realized this is kind of like my chance to go and travel again, and kind of go to these places again, and be kind of like in the wolf pack.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a couple years. And I wanted to grow my hair out, but I still wasn't quite ready for that yet.
Yeah.
But I did start growing my beard out.
Okay.
And so my actual first long hair journey was from my face.
Nice. There we go.
And then after that, so this is actually like where my long hair journey started. After that, I started working for a client here locally, still as a security contractor. And then my first assignment was I went with them to the Philippines because they were shooting a documentary. And once again, I'm not Filipino, I'm Chamorro, right? Totally different culture. But while I was there, I had these like, I just witnessed like the Philippine culture and these people, and like a lot of them, you know, there's like bitter poverty and a lot of issues with crime and stuff in some of these places, but a lot of them were just happy to be.
Yeah.
They were just happy to exist. And they were such nice people, and like this beautiful place and this beautiful culture, so colorful, dude. And then I was in an island called Palawan, and then in particular there's a city called Puerto Princesa, and so that's where I spent a month there doing security for this dock. And then on my off time, I actually rented a motorcycle. And it's funny because like I had never even sat on a motorcycle before, but I learned how to ride it in like one morning. Well, but I knew how to like ride it with confidence. Right? And so on my off time, I would like explore the island and go and check stuff out. And then one particular day, and this is like a huge moment for me, because like I keep mentioning that I'm Chamorro, but I'm actually also Mexican. And I love my Mexican family. I love Mexican culture, right? But I was raised as a Mexican kid, right? And I didn't really have this identity with like my Chamorro heritage.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to pronounce it well. In fact, I don't even really know how to say it. But like while I was in Puerto, they had this, was kind of what seemed like a county fair type thing. but it was like this huge celebration of like Philippine culture, and there was like food, and you could buy knickknacks and like all these like booths that you can walk through and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had this big competition where all these like different dance companies would do like they did like this huge production to celebrate Philippine culture, and then each company had like a different thing, and then they would compete to see who had the best performance.
Oh, nice.
And then they would win like a purse, maybe like 10,000 pesos or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Not an actual purse, but I mean like a collection of money.
Sure.
Like say in boxing, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching these performances, and I even took pictures of like my favorite one. And like, dude, I'm like on the verge of tears. Like, it was so beautiful to watch these people, and they were so proud of being Filipino, right? And these like amazing people, they're so happy, dude. And I felt like this spiritual like awakening, right? And like and like I said, I'm not Filipino, but like I felt like, man, this is something I want. I don't have this of this island culture. And so I just, at that moment, I walked away, and I was different.
Really?
I was like, I had a whole side of me that was just awake now.
Yeah.
And so now we're tapping into like the island thing,
Yeah.
with the hair and the
So you start researching, start digging in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so before I left the Philippines, I vowed to like become a Chamorro person.
Okay.
And not to just say like, oh, I'm part Chamorro, you know, my genes or whatever.
Yeah,
but
what does
like
that
also
mean? And
to celebrate being Chamorro.
Yeah.
Right? And so like I stopped cutting my hair as part of it.
Okay.
And of course, not every Chamorro has long hair, right? Because
just the ones that matter.
Yeah. So Chamorro people come from what's known as Guam, but in reality, the island's called Guahan.
Okay.
And the island, and I am not I'm not the person to give like the in-depth history of the Chamorro people, but like I said, I'm for anyone listening, I'm sure people are like screaming at them, you know, that's not what it means, right? Like, and it's like, listen, man, like I'm still learning,
Sure.
I'm still healing like my Chamorro spirit. Like,
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna get stuff wrong, but I'm on this journey to get it right.
And that's what matters.
Yeah. And so I started learning about my culture, and I did actually know a lot of stuff already, because like I said, I my grandpa, right? I got to learn a lot about him, and like so Guam, or Guahan, has continuously been raped and pillaged by various cultures over hundreds and thousands of years. Like, it was a Spanish slave port way back in the day, and then the Spanish like mission went there, and there's two essentially back, especially I don't know if it's as prominent now, but like there were essentially two castes of Chamorro people, right? There was like the high society and the low society. I think a lot of it had to do with like land ownership.
Okay.
So what the mission did, which is actually a common tactic in a lot of places in the world where they did this, is they went after the lower castes and converted them to Catholicism, and then that spread. And then it eventually, like, Chamorro people became like very Catholic.
Okay.
And a lot of the culture was kind of lost that way. And then, for example, if you hear someone speaking Chamorro, some of the words are Spanish. They're not even like indigenous words, which is fine. Like, it's our culture, man. That's our history.
Yeah.
And but and then like now fast forward, like another major event was the Imperial Japanese military invaded the island and rounded up all the Chamorros and put them in concentration camps, and like cut people's hair off, beheaded people, raped people, like genocide. And my grandfather was an 8-year-old little boy in one of those camps, and he witnessed all that shit, dude. And he never talked about it until like a year before he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
And after that, of course, Guam was one of the first islands that the Marine Corps hit to take back. And I find myself in this dichotomy because I'm a Marine, I'm also Chamorro, right? And so the way that the Marines taking the island was sold was like, oh, we're liberating the Chamorro people and getting these pesky Japanese tyrants out, right? And of course, like, Japan is not that Japan anymore, right? But like that version of the Japanese military. And so that's how it was sold, and that's how I learned it when I was little. And only until I was an adult did I learn they didn't give a shit about the Chamorro people. They wanted the island because it was a strategic place to put a landing strip for bombers to take off and hit the other islands.
Right.
And so these Chamorro people, like, they just got done getting massacred, right? To the point where, like, when the Japanese were losing the island, they started executing the Chamorros because they didn't want to surrender their prisoners to the Americans. Yeah.
Horrific.
Horrific, dude.
Yes.
And this is like hearing about all that was like a different kind of pain, dude. And but then it doesn't get all bright and shiny from there either, because the U.S. government started annexing a lot of the ancestral land from these families that had been there since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And my family's one of those families. They took a lot of our land, like most of it actually, and put naval bases there. And they're still there. They're still taking it.
Yeah.
And then even like insulting, where like the land that they annexed, they sold it off to private corporations.
Oh no.
So imagine you're this person with like little to no means,
Right.
and you're supposed to be rich in land,
Yeah.
and then you see your land being sold to, like, you know, Delta Airlines,
Right.
and they're making millions, maybe billions, and you're over here poor.
Yeah.
And so part of me was like, I need to be in the effort. I need to do something.
Yeah.
And part of that was I need to get in touch with my Chamorro culture, and that's part of my long hair journey, is to become more in tune with my indigenous side.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother, like, man, if anybody's interested, dude, if you're into like the social justice or just even political activism or anything, look up the indigenous land rights dispute on Guahan.
Yeah.
It's going to blow your mind.
Are
talk.
you involved with that, or is your family, or have you been out there?
Yeah. So
Okay.
my aunt was the U.S. attorney. Oh man, Auntie, if I get this wrong, I'm so sorry. She was the U.S. attorney for Micronesia and for the Micronesia and the Mariana Islands. So
Okay.
she worked under Bush, or no, she worked, I think, Bush, Obama, and then briefly for Trump.
Okay.
As the representative for those islands.
Yeah.
And she's retired, and now she's one of the attorneys leading the charge to get our land back.
Okay.
And my family is very privileged and fortunate because we have this badass
Yeah.
woman. So a lot of people don't know Chamorro
And she's in a
culture's-
place of power
yeah,
too.
Chamorro culture is like matriarchal, so like
Yeah.
our women are fucking warriors, dude.
Yeah.
And she's one of those women that's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and the inspiration from that comes from my great grandma, which was my grandfather's mother. It was her land that a lot of this was taken. And dude, it's been to the point where like they've sent bulldozers, just showed up to the last little bit of property that she had.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, this is a notice to vacate. We're bulldozing this because it's being sold. She was like, okay. Like baby on her hip and everything. Okay, go ahead. Bulldoze it. Well, you need to leave. She's like, no.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you want to bulldoze this shit, you got to run me over. Like that, dude. And there's a huge effort, and the local government's doing everything they can, dude. But like they're these little people.
Yeah.
And then the federal government's putting this huge burden on them to figure it out. And it's like, but you're the one with the damn keys.
Right.
Hand them over. Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not the point of authority for this. This is as I'm educating myself, this is my knowledge of the situation. So when my grandfather passed away, he left his inheritance of land to my mother and then one of his other daughters.
Okay.
My mother, she has a neurological disorder, so she doesn't have the fight in her to spend the next 20 years or 30 years or whatever whatever her responsibility would be to carry on this battle. So she handed it to me and she said, hey, I want you to, because she knows I'm a fighter, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so she said, I want you to take the torch.
Okay.
And so then I asked myself, what can I do that's not better, or I don't want to use a word like that, but what can I do to, remember, once again, what can I bring to this table?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm actually working with a local cinematographer and a local, Elefante's on this project.
Okay. Nice.
And then another guy. And we're kind of piecing together a documentary where we're
Okay.
going to actually go to Guahan and show what's going on over there.
Yeah.
And just because I think, and like I said, this is my limited opinion, but I think that one of the biggest problems is that nobody knows this shit is happening.
Right. Yeah.
Because
huge
if you
issue.
look at these other political organizations, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the more prominent ones, right? They're a household name. And hey, this demographic of people is having issues with like law enforcement, for example, but because they became so loud and so undeniable that now everybody, to the point where they're affecting policy. And that's power, dude.
Yeah.
And I think that we need something like that, because our problem might be smaller than like police brutality, but if it's smaller, that means it's easier to fix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so my big contribution, hopefully, will be that documentary.
Okay.
And just bring more eyes, because we might be 100,000 people,
Yeah.
right? And by the way, Chamorro culture is said to be like maybe 1 or 2 generations away from being gone.
Wow. No way.
And so I'm not the guy that's like gonna fix it, but I want to put one more thing
Sure.
on the table.
Sure.
Yeah.
That maybe someone can take that and do something great with it.
Right.
Dude, hell
And,
yeah.
and so yeah, that's how I started growing my hair, was to get in touch with my Chamorro culture and
wow, what
get
a
that big mana.
what
you
a
know?
journey. Yeah, the big man.
Big mana.
And what a journey that's taken you on, and now you're
Oh yeah.
fighting and an activist for
Yeah.
May I read something that I just looked up here? The Mariana, I just started without getting permission, so I'm reading.
That's
The
fine.
Mariana Islands, including Guam, are the ancestral homeland of the Chamorro people. Scientists have shown that Chamorros have lived here for more than 4,000 years, sharing a unique and special relationship with the land and sea. Chamorros are commonly referred to as Tau Tau Tano, which means people of the land. It is also a way of indicating that a person is native to these islands.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you have any information, like links, anything like that you can send to me, I think we should try to include that in the blog post if people
Yeah.
are interested.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
And islanders, not just Chamorros, but like islanders in general,
Yeah.
are traditionally longhairs.
yeah.
That is
Yes.
one of the cultures where it is the norm
Right.
to be a long hair.
It's a
Right.
mark of masculinity.
Yeah.
hmm
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saw plenty of that in Hawaii for sure.
Yeah.
We need to introduce him to Ben. I think the two of them would get along.
Oh,
really
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's another Chamorro guy that hangs out with Linz from time to
Dope.
time.
Yeah.
Set it
yeah.
up.
hmm
Set it up.
Okay. So one of the this might be breaking topic a little bit, but one of the things that I have found so respectable about Jose's character, not just being able to prevail over different trials and tribulations that he's faced with Marine Corps training, with deployment, with trying to raise awareness about the cause for the Chamorro people. But one of the really cool things that he did is he actually rescued and essentially brought back to life a feral dog from Afghanistan and brought it home. And I've seen pictures of this dog when he found it, and I have met this dog just a couple weeks ago, and it's a night and day difference. It really is. And so,
Wow.
what made you want to help this particular dog out? Because I know that feral dogs are, it's just the norm over there. But what stood out to you about this particular dog?
Yeah. So this was not when I was in the Marines, but when I was in Kandahar as a contractor.
Okay.
And so the
Wait, how
place-
many times did you go back as a contractor?
So I went. I can't say a lot.
Okay.
For like non-disclosure reasons.
Sure.
But I went there to that region. Let's say 5 times.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's not the same.
Sure.
It's super dangerous. But
Yeah.
like, I was in way more danger as a recondo.
Okay.
But is he doing those? Is he walking from the
Yeah,
squats?
from the squats. From the squats.
Boys, if you're listening, grow your hair, do some squats.
Exactly.
That's
Get the legs beefy.
your
all right?
testosterone will shoot up 7,000%.
It
Yeah.
will.
Don't ask me how. It's science. Okay. But anyway, I went over there 5 times as a contractor, and so the last time I was over there, of course, there was like so many feral dogs. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But this
And these aren't like normal, little 45-pound dogs cruising around.
No.
Like these are big ass, like wolf-style dogs.
These are dogs.
Well, they're
that
not
like
wolf. Like they don't look like wolves. They're like big, almost like
bear dogs.
we don't have dogs like this here,
No.
right? Like
No.
they don't exist here.
Just if you're curious, just Google like Afghani dogs.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
fucking
You
humongous.
will, you will see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were so many feral dogs, but there was this one dog that I found that he was like so weak and like emaciated and just so pathetic. And I mean that not in a derogatory way, but just like, man, look at this little bastard. Like
Yeah.
just he got dealt a shitty hand, you know? And I don't really believe in like pity, but
Yeah.
mainly for like human beings.
Sure.
Where it's like, look, if you're having a hard time, man, like, dude, tell me how I can help you, but
Yeah.
don't just wallow in your
Right.
shitty situation.
Or do
Like,
something about
let's
it.
do something.
Like,
let's
yeah.
go, dude.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
just
yeah.
roll over and die.
Let's
Come
go. Are you having money troubles, bro? Let's look up part-time jobs. We're gonna get you out. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
like, don't
yeah,
just
yeah.
sit here and whatever, right? But with this dog, I'm like, man, this poor little bastard. Like, and I could see that like he had been attacked by other dogs, and he had actually been hurt by humans too. One of the locals beat the shit out of him and broke one of his ankles, and so his foot kind of healed crooked.
Oh no.
And I just felt so bad for him, dude.
Yeah.
So one of the policies while I was working there, because we had working dogs, and these working dogs are like so expensive, dude. They can like sniff for bombs,
Yeah. Yeah.
cell phones, and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Is they said like, hey, you can't interact with any of the animals, like nothing. And so I was like, okay, like whatever. But I felt bad for this guy. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because
Yeah.
like, I love animals, dude. And I have 3 dogs now, including this one. But I had one of my other dogs. It was also a rescue, and I just like rescuing animals. Like I don't buy puppies, you know.
Yeah.
I like old unwanted dogs, and so
It's great.
yeah, and so I was like, man, what am I gonna do for this guy? So I was like, okay, what could I get fired for? And it's like, just take it one step below that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, plausible deniability. Let me just bring him like some water. And
Okay.
cut the bottle open, and if he drinks it, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
right.
So he's kind of hanging around. He
Well,
kept coming around you.
He
and
found
stuff.
well, he wasn't even mobile. He found this little spot because, mind you, it's like 125 degrees out, and so he found this little spot where if he laid there, for 13 hours,
Yeah.
it was enough shade where he wouldn't die.
Okay.
And then in the evening, he would get up and like find some garbage or like a rat or something
Okay.
to try to eat.
Yeah.
And so I started bringing him water, so at least he wouldn't die of dehydration. And then I started just bringing him like I literally had to like walk by and just like throw it out of my pocket,
Yeah.
just like slap some like
Yeah.
whatever.
It's a little sly move.
Yeah,
Just,
slap him. And like
meat.
maybe he'll eat it,
Give him some
And-
Cheetos.
Yeah, and then so then thanks. And then I went to like a local bazaar and I bought him a steel bowl, and I was like, okay, I've been getting away with it consistently. We're like, I'm probably safe.
Yeah.
And so I bought him like a steel bowl, and then I would put like water in it, or I would put
Okay.
food, and then I would fill it with water, and then I would
Yeah.
just leave, right?
Yeah.
And then he had severe mange, so none of the other dogs would come mess with him.
Oh, they knew.
Because they're smart. They know, like, hey, that
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
sick. Like, hey, don't get
Yeah.
on
That
him.
guy's gonna get us sick. Like
And so
he's got COVID.
So then, yeah, pretty much, dude.
He's got SARS.
Yeah. And so it got to the point where like now he could kind of walk around, and then it got to the point where he would come and wait for me at this one spot, but he never let me touch him because all the humans he'd ever met would beat
Yeah.
the shit out of him.
Yeah.
He never
Wow.
had an owner. He was like a wild birthed dog,
Yeah.
100% feral. And so he would come and he would kind of like wait for me. And then I would like put his bowls down and then like fill them,
Yeah.
and then I would like back off, and
Yeah.
then he would come and eat, and then he would eat where like he could kind of look at me.
No
So-
way.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
then
rad.
and then of course my time there was coming to an end, and so I was in this impossible situation. Like, what do I do about the dog?
Yeah.
Because now he was like my little homie,
Yeah.
and I love animals, dude. Like I don't care if I'm like this war veteran. Like I love animals, dude. I'm so soft for animals, and so I was like, man, like what is the most humane thing for me to do about this dog? Because if I just leave, he's gonna either die of dehydration, right? Die of hunger. Someone's gonna beat the shit out of him and kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what would I want? I don't
Right.
want any of those deaths,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, you know what? This is pretty morbid, but I think I'm gonna shoot him
Okay. Yeah.
because
Why not put him out of his misery, right?
because
Like,
in my mind, that was the most humane thing I could do for him.
Yeah.
Was so that he wouldn't continue to suffer. And what am I gonna euthanize him, bro? Like,
right.
I have access to one instant death. It's a gun.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I don't want to, but like, I don't want to just leave him. He's gonna come back, and I'm not gonna be there, and that's it. Like, now he's screwed. And so I was like, fine, I'm gonna keep being good to him, and then on the last day, I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay.
And then at one point, like, he finally like let me pet him, and I was like, oh man, like, great.
Now it's over.
Now what am I gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like 3 days before I'm supposed to leave, I go out there, and one of my homies went with me too.
Yeah.
And I'm feeding him like normal, and then a truck pulls up, and it's one of let's say the clients that I was working for, and these are like government personnel, right?
Okay.
And in the truck happened to be one of the people that's like, she was like a supervisor, let's say.
Okay.
And I knew I'm fucked. She's
On
getting
you.
me fired.
Against policy.
And like, I'm right about to go home, so it's more like I'm not coming back. I'm so screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
And so and I told my buddy, like, don't worry, dude. I'll tell her you didn't even know
You're not involved.
what we were doing when I was bringing you here. You were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
coming to back me up in case we get shot at. Like,
Okay.
and so they walk up, and then she's one of those like, just like, she was a hard woman.
Sure.
Because she worked, for Uncle Sam
Yeah,
in these
yeah.
like war zones. And she's like, hey, and it's like, oh, how you doing, man? And she's like, you're the guy that's been feeding this dog, huh? And I was like, fuck. And I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm the one I've been bringing him food every day.
Yeah.
And I was about to say like, oh, just me, not him. And she's like, it's okay. I've already rescued like 7 of these dogs.
She was a softie
So
Yeah, she was
softy.
also a closeted softie.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I've rescued like
No.
7 of these dogs. She's
Yeah.
like, I have a whole pack of them at home.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
god.
oh my god, dude. And she's like, what are your plans when you leave? And I
Yeah.
was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna shoot him. Like, what else?
Yeah.
I was planning on shooting him tomorrow.
And then she kind of looked at me like, oh, you freaking gunfighters. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to she's like, do you want to kill him, or like, do you want to take him home? And I'm like, is that even an option? And she's like, yeah.
No
And
way.
then, so there is a foundation. I believe they're called Puppy Rescue Mission.
Okay.
And I encourage anyone to look them up, even if you don't want a dog, but you just want to kick them like $20 or something.
Yeah.
Because they help people that find dogs over there, and they help them get them. To the
No
United
way.
States.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And from all over the world, dude. Turkey.
Yeah, okay.
Like everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Middle Eastern region. I think Southeast Asia, even like all these places. And
No
they help
way.
service members and government personnel get dogs and
Yeah.
cats, anything to the United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Check out
amazing.
check out their website, puppyrescuemission.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're
And
interested in
They're on
helping.
Instagram. They have all kinds of stuff. But
Soldiers saving puppies, puppies saving soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
That is great.
Yeah, this is what we need for sure.
and so within days they set up this campaign and to raise like $5,000, because essentially, if like in some parts of the world, like the more westernized non-war zone places,
Yeah.
it's literally like, oh yeah, we'll just get him in a dog what is that called, like a dog
Kennel,
fostering
or
yeah.
Yeah.
Fostering program.
And then when we raise the money, we'll put him in a crate and then just get him on a flight.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was in a war zone, okay?
Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, here's what's going to happen. Like, on this day, at this hour, this dude is going to show up in a red station wagon.
No
And you're
way.
going to put him in the back, and he's going to take off. And then once we raise the money, like, he's going to drive him to Kabul. And then once we raise the money, we'll get him in a crate, and then we'll bribe some airline worker to put him in the cargo space and fly him to Virginia. Yeah.
No
like that.
way.
So
Wow.
I bribed a whole shitload of people to smuggle my dog from Afghanistan to Turkey to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to DC.
Were you traveling with him,
No.
or no? He was just
No.
unknown
So
where
we
he
had
was.
to go separate.
Okay.
So it was more like I had to trust this system of people.
Yeah.
that-
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you meet up with the station wagon red
Yeah,
car
the
guy?
whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
and yeah. And
So cool.
Yeah. And I was like, man, like, this is so like some Jason Bourne shit,
Dude,
and it's all for this
straight
dog,
up.
dude.
Amazing. So wait, when they're trying to raise the money, they like tell your story and how you were feeding them, or how
Yeah,
how
so-
do they do that whole? How does that all work?
So from what I remember, I had to like kind of email somebody and then kind of write a statement about like the dog and how I met him and why he's important to me and why,
Okay.
what's gonna happen if we raise the money.
Yeah.
And so I said, like, you know, I told him everything I told you guys. And then I said, you know, I know I can't save them all, but I can save this one. Right. And so I said, I live this beautiful Southern California life, and I want to just give one of these animals a chance to be happy.
Yeah.
And so of course, like with that write up, like, so I got some people to pitch in, and then they made it public, and then I had, like, you know, Midwestern grandmas that were like, "Oh my God, like, God bless you," and like they gave like $20, and we raised $5,000 like that, dude.
No way.
Oh yeah, like in like 24 hours or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so when I came home from that was right when I came home and I started working for that local client, and then I was home for I was in Virginia and then Arizona for a week, and then I came home and I was only in Chula Vista for 6 days, and I had just gotten a new house, so I had to move from my old house to my new house in those 6 days, and then get ready to go on my next assignment, which was to the Philippines.
Wow.
And then he was still traveling, and then when I came back from the Philippines, like 2 days later, he arrived at the San Diego airport, and I picked him up. And that was
What a journey for him,
yeah,
being
it was
passed around all these countries, all
3
these
years
people he'd probably never been in a crate before.
He had never been pet before,
Or indoors even. Maybe.
he had never
Yeah.
been fed before. No one had ever been nice to him.
Yeah.
He had never had a home, right? Nothing. He was literally a feral dog, like a 100% wild animal.
Like a wild,
yeah.
it's a wild dog.
And we're 3 years in, and he still has that little bit of like hood in him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like the one of the funny things about dogs, I haven't seen a lot of wild dogs except for like the Middle East, but like one of the funny things about like Afghani dogs is that they're climbers, because they're like there's a lot of mountains and stuff in
Yeah,
Afghanistan,
yeah.
so they'll climb.
Yeah.
And like you'll literally find a dog like on a roof of a house, and you're like, what the fuck? What are you, a goat, dude?
No way, yeah.
It's like my dog, he'll just climb shit, and then like I'll be like, what, like, where is he?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, he's on top of like the tool shed, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like looking down at me like, oh, you gonna feed me now or what?
Yeah.
Fool? Like, let's go, dude.
I'm up here.
Yeah.
The ankle's good?
So it's never gonna be straight, but like
Okay.
he's good. He can
Okay,
run. And,
okay.
And the mange cleared up, and now he has like this crazy coat, dude. Like
No way. He's just thriving here in
He's
San
thriving.
Diego.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Never-Ending Story, but Falcor,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what he looks like now, man.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
wow.
He's this big poofy,
Yeah.
super jolly dog now.
Yeah, I've met him, and you would never think that he was this feral dog in the Middle East. Like he's a sweet guy. I love that dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every child of the 90s, 80s wanted their own Falcor.
Yeah.
Better believe we did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
So I know I'm not sure if we're running out of time here, but I know you had.
There's no limit on this one.
Fair enough.
Send
well,
it.
I know
We're going
you
5
have-
hours,
We're
guys.
going deep, dude.
Okay.
We're going deep.
All right, brace yourselves, kids. The marathon has begun. I know you have a brand that, due to the pandemic, was kind of put on hold. But essentially, what is the brand? What are you trying to do with it?
So, I have to say this to tell you that. My two best friends and I, they're also Ricondos. We, for years, because I got out in 2013, so I've been out for, 8 years now? And, excuse me. So for years, we kind of expressed our disdain for a lot of these veteran clothing brands. And like, don't get me wrong, man, those guys put food on their table selling those clothes.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm never going to knock a man for making money, or at least, you know, in a making good money, not bad money. But like, but I don't agree with a lot of it. A lot of it's like kind of toxic and abrasive, and it's just funny to be ignorant kind of stuff. And that's just not me. I'm not going to prevent them from doing it. I'm just not going to partake in it.
Sure.
And so I always felt, why can't there be a veteran / patriotic brand that's just chill? it doesn't need M16s and screaming eagles and dick jokes on it. So like if you think about like Ruka, for example, I love Ruka.
Yeah.
They're like a surf and skate brand, and now they're like in jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they're not like, oh, like Hang 10, bro, like super in your face. It's like, no, they're just dope clothes. Like I love their clothes, man. Or like Live Fit it's like a fitness brand.
Yep.
And it's a fitness brand, but it's not like stupid quotes and all this crazy shit. It's literally
Rise and grind.
Yeah, it's just like chill, simple clothes for people that train. So I wanted to do something with a similar aesthetic. It's just chill, normal clothes for the normal vet or the normal patriotic person. There's no political affiliation, right? You love America, dude. Cool. Here's a normal shirt you could just wear to work, and it doesn't have like a dead terrorist on it, or it doesn't have some innuendo. It's just something cool, something chill. And so we spent a couple years working on that, and we even worked with Elefante to make some ads and everything.
Okay.
And we had all these assets, and then we did a Kickstarter, and we raised just enough to get it off the ground. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. That's enough.
Yeah.
And it's enough. Like, we're gonna launch, and then we launched it January of 2020.
Nice.
And then perfect timing.
Great timing.
And then of course the lockdown happened, and then a lot of people lost their jobs, and so a lot of these companies weren't like making money, and we were at a point where we weren't dependent on the income from the brand.
Yeah.
So we had a meeting, and we said, hey, what do we want to do about this? Do we keep going and we keep doing ad spend and we keep doing all that stuff you guys already know about?
Yeah.
Or it's all e-commerce, so we could just shut it off. And we're such a tiny group of guys. We're like we don't even exist. We're like a tick on the back of the market, And so it's like, honestly, we might save more money than we would potentially make if we just stopped. And so we just put it on hold. And so it was kind of a disastrous launch, if you will, like, because as you guys know, like, you have to spend a lot of money, dude, to get something off the ground, and you're gonna make it back. But we didn't have the make it back time. We had the launch it and then 2 fucking bad times.
Right.
And I still have that vision, because especially like right now, where like and I really don't want to talk about politics, but like you have this like, I love America, like I'm a patriot, and like you're kind of considered part of this school, but like, or like you don't like the current government or whatever, and not, you're on this team over here, and it's like, yeah, but both sides want the same thing. They want a good, inclusive, like beautiful America. Both of those people are patriots in my mind, right? Because a patriot is loyal to their people, not their government.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the government, let's say.
Yeah.
And so I still have a vision to do that, and I think that we need that. It's a common space. Like with Longhairs, you don't ask like, who did you vote for, or whatever, what's your favorite team? It's like, no, do you have long fucking hair?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your
You're
identity or your preferences are. It's like, you're a long hair. You're one of us. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. I'm one of the team because I'm a long hair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And so that's kind of something that I was aiming for, but more like, do you love America? I don't give a shit what your I Love America looks like, but do you love America? Or are you a veteran? Doesn't matter what branch,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I wanted in like a chill, like not in your face aesthetic.
Yeah. Totally.
And so it was called This American Blood, and we kind of shut everything down except for the Instagram. So there's not like a website to go to right now, but I'm a fucking fighter, dude, and I'm not gonna give up.
Okay.
And I'm waiting. Like that Recondo in me is like, okay, I don't have the numbers to just get in the market's face and like, I'm taking over.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm gonna tactically withdraw, but I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that.
Tomorrow in you.
Yeah.
Became a Recondo.
Yeah. It's also kind of serendipitous that I became an amphibious reconnaissance marine, because like Chamorro people are like people of the land and sea.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Totally.
So it's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we've recently started kind of setting things in motion to kind of resuscitate it a little bit.
Okay.
But honestly, I mean, what a great learning experience to launch right before a pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a hard lesson, bro. Like, who told you you're going to be successful? Who told you you're entitled to succeed? You're not.
Yeah.
Nobody owes you shit, dude. And that was a big reminder.
Yeah.
Of like, so what if you did all this work? Nobody cares. I don't mean like people. I mean like the universe.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about just the whole, I don't know what your following was looking like before, what content you guys are putting out or anything. It's I couldn't imagine just trying to like launch a product in January and then everything that happened that proceeded is like insane. What we found though, and this comes with having our audience, our platform, years of kind of building this community, you know?
Yeah.
Like last year was insane for our brand as far as, you know, web traffic and the product we moved and the things we did and all this stuff, like, because so many more people were online and stuff too. So like, I'm like putting myself though in your guys' position. You just you're like so stoked and everything. And then all this huge unknown cloud comes in and there's not really that foundation of like the audience there to know like, oh, we got, you know, 10,000 customers that are they'll help us get through this, you know, where like that was something we feel super blessed about. Yeah. And why I think our business like survived and ended up thriving was, you know, we had that community intact and that's the foundation. And at the end of the day, that's, you know, people were looking for entertainment. They were looking for more knowledge about their hair. And we ended up having all the years of library, the greatest library of hair content available is on our website. And then we were able to capture so many new people. So like those 360 something web pages that we have, like all our blog posts, you know, individual links, like those all helped so much last year where we never would have guessed. Like we always know our blogs are valuable, but the surge of people who were online like instantly took up traffic and every single thing, you know? So like, it's just crazy how that worked out. I couldn't imagine if we launched the Longhairs in January, thinking back what it was like when we actually did launch it and had our moms on the email list and like a couple friends.
Yeah. And that was the big thing is I felt like, because it's like playing poker. Like, I mean, actually, I should say this cautiously because I'm not like an expert poker player, but you have to make a call based off of the cards in your hand. Yeah. Right.
Sure.
And so with the information at hand, it was like, I think we should stop.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the following.
Yeah.
We don't have the capital to just keep marketing.
Sure.
And keep making content.
Yeah.
In this drought. Had we launched maybe like 2 years prior to that, even if we had, even like 20%.
Total different story.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so in that moment, plus there were some other things that I don't really want to talk about just because I don't want to sound butthurt. But like, just little snippet. We were in talks with someone. We'll say like a business advisor. And they were going to come on the team as a consultant, and I knew firsthand that they had experience with startups. Yeah. And they gave us this crazy good deal of like what it was going to cost us. Yeah, and then right before we launched, they fucking pulled out.
Really?
And our whole strategy was built around that person.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, sticking to their word.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they pulled out, and that left us so exposed. Sure. And then we literally had to scratch together a contingency plan, and you know, 3 inexperienced business guys, like we just didn't have a good enough plan. And I'm not, and I'm taking ownership. I believe in extreme ownership, like by Jocko Willing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jocko. I actually
San Diego guy,
dude. Side note, I met him, and his fucking arms, dude. His hand and his when I shook his hand. His arms are like medieval weapons.
I believe it.
Like there's so much meat there. I was like, Jesus, man. But he's a cool dude. I mean, I don't know him.
Sure.
But like that interaction I had, I was like, wow, dude. Like, I really believe in what he teaches. Yeah. And also I met him and he's cool. So, you know, like that was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as scary in person as you think it's going to be.
Yeah. And so thinking within extreme ownership, I realized I put all my my eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
And then that person just kicked the fucking basket over, and I left myself exposed. I left my flank exposed.
Sure.
Because I just expected that this person was going to deliver.
Right.
And that was my fault. It was my fault.
Too much into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on me. And so so essentially we fell right on our face, and we had ourselves to blame. And so it's like, okay, pick up all the pieces. Let's go back to the workshop and figure this shit out.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of tiptoeing back into the pool right now, but as of right now, it doesn't exist. So.
Shifting the brand into a extreme long hair and beard brand. Moving into a new category.
Yeah.
No, dude. Seriously though, your beard and hair. I'm wanting to ask you about this because I think you actually have the longest beard and hair of any guest that we've ever had on the podcast.
I'll have you know, I trimmed it just before coming here.
You did just a little tune up,
just a little bit.
Keep things
it was
looking sharp.
Like, you know when they say, "Oh, you got a mountain man," like, no, this is groomed right here.
Yeah.
I had I actually fanned it all the way out with my comb.
Yeah.
Just to see and it was like this, dude.
Oh, man.
Because my beard kind of curls in because of my hair. It kind of like pushes it in.
Okay.
But like when I combed it all the way out, it was like I don't know if the camera can see me, but like it was like this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's too much.
That's like Blackbeard style.
I gotta trim this a little bit.
Yeah.
So, dude, like, okay, I've had a lot longer beard than this, but nothing as long as that ever. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And even at this length right here, the hair is constantly, it's like Velcro, it gets stuck in there and everything. I wonder, when you get a little bit longer in the beard, is it almost more, do you ever have any hair, beard tie-ups, knots, any issues with the
disagreement?
Yeah, exactly.
Conflict.
Eventually, because like normally, from my experience, my hair doesn't get pushed from here. If I'm on the phone or something, it gets pushed from here.
Okay.
So when my beard is now down here, it's pushing against others, just strands of hair.
Yeah.
Versus like if it got pushed like
and
this.
And it has a little bounce. Your beard even has a little bounce.
Yeah, because like my beard, I mean, in genetics, right? Like just like with head hair, you have terminal growth.
Yeah.
You have thick hair. You have thin hair. You have, and there are some great products. Like I love the serum, by the way.
Awesome.
There you go.
And you have products that can help with it, but you can only take it so far, right?
Yeah.
So for this is like not much longer than my terminal growth. Like my terminal growth is probably like right here.
Okay.
And so like the center of my chest, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so at that kind of like once again on the head, you have that awkward stage where it gets caught in shit and your long hair might get like Velcroed in, like you said. But then once it gets to a certain point, it's like heavy enough.
Yeah.
And long enough where like it's like a shield almost, like stuff stops getting caught in there.
Yeah.
It's actually really good for like when I'm eating, and because like I'm not gonna wear a goddamn bib, guys. Like you know what I mean? I don't tuck my napkin in my shirt. Yeah. But like if I'm eating and like something falls, it'll get caught in my beard and not on my shirt.
Right,
like, yes.
Dude.
Nature's
totally.
bib.
Yeah.
Nice deflector.
I'm
there.
a savage though, dude. I just grab my beard and like, let's
Dude,
go.
what are you gonna waste those calories?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are gains.
Fall out into the world.
Gains
Those are
right
gains,
there.
man.
Got to keep those.
Totally. Mm-hmm. So what was harder, the beard awkward stage or the hair awkward stage?
I would say the hair awkward stage was much harder because there's just so much of it.
Yeah.
And versus the beard, it's like just let it grow, just ignore it. It's gonna get itchy, whatever. Yeah. There's no like magic potion or pill or magic device. I see so much garbage,
right?
That like being sold on Instagram.
Yeah.
Then now there's like this
that little rubber thing. You know that little wheel thing?
Yeah,
you like
that's
rub
like,
on your
that
skin?
little wheel with the spikes on it. Oh, it helps your follicles, and it's like no.
It's like it shows a guy who like has like no beard. And then he's rubbing that thing, and it's like, in 2 weeks, and look at this.
Yeah, and like what they don't tell you is that that's actually reversed. They just made him shave.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first one, yeah. Just let it grow. Be patient.
2 weeks, you can look like Grizzly Adams.
Be patient. The one thing I will say is worse about the awkward stage for your facial hair is that you can't just put a hat on it.
Right. Okay.
It might look kind of bad. Yeah. Like this is very patchy when I'm starting. So like when I'm first growing it, it's like here and here and
okay,
and it
fills
like
in
garbage.
though, huh?
Yeah, you just got to let it go.
Yeah,
just be patient, man.
Dang.
Yeah.
This guy's managing a lot of hair over here.
I love
You
it.
have a glorious mane, by
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way.
you do.
Right up
This
there
is my
at the
mana.
tops of our
This
Yeah.
is my
lists,
big
man.
mana right here.
There you go.
Big
The big
mana.
mana, dude, coined it.
absolutely
Hey,
love that.
you talk about bringing something to the table. You show up today. We're debating what we should name our island influenced new hair ties designs, and bam, nailed with big mana.
solid.
dude.
Bring
man.
something to the table, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like showing up to a dinner party. Maybe they don't want you to bring something. Bring a damn bottle of wine.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
something. Don't be one of those
Don't be an
savages.
asshole. All right.
Wash some dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a savage that doesn't do anything and leaves.
All right.
So it's like, show up. It's like, hey, I really like this product.
Yeah.
You know, hey, what if you called it this?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Love that.
Don't give unsolicited advice, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I love the long hairs, man.
Yeah.
I am a long hair. It's
Dude.
not like, who the fuck am I? What am I, like a sponsored spokesman, bro? Like, I'm a guy that has long hair and I love the product.
It's great.
You know?
So
In
the
fact-
serum's been good for the beard too? Or are you using it on just the
So,
hair? Or what's the deal?
I have a balm that I put in the beard.
Okay.
So I actually haven't put the serum on the beard because I feel like it would be a little much.
Sure.
I'm down to try though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll do it.
Hey, no
but-
pressure. You
yeah.
know, I'm just
But I've been
wondering.
putting it in my hair and it feels good, man. Like my
Okay.
hair. Yeah, I've been liking
What
it.
about washing and conditioning? You use the same product for the hair and the beard, or two different things?
two things?
Okay.
I actually use a special. I don't mean special as in like there's something fancy in it. I just use a specific actual beard wash and conditioner, and then I use a shampoo.
Do you think
and
it's
a conditioner.
different?
I probably
between-
not,
okay.
honestly. But also I don't want my beard and my hair to smell exactly the same.
Okay.
Um,
Fair enough.
I don't remember the brands either. I'm married and my wife is like super into like beauty products and,
Yeah.
and hair care and stuff like that. So I just tell her like, hey, this is kind of what I want. Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh yeah, try this shampoo and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
She did a full in-depth
Mm-hmm.
analysis,
Yeah.
search, and
She's got you covered.
reviews. She
Yeah,
figured it out.
yeah,
Big mana energy.
Big mana.
Dude, love it.
yeah.
Love it. Hey, the big mana and the FOP from yesterday.
Dude.
We had another guy in here yesterday, and his line was FOP, bro, flow on point.
Yeah.
He's all, dude, you guys gotta start using it. FOP,
FOP.
Right
flows on point.
That fop life.
That flop life.
Yeah. Flopping hard.
Flopping hard, dude. Oh, we could
There's a
really
lot, but
leverage that.
Big mana is absolutely nailed,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just it doesn't get better than
So,
that.
is this the first show since the mural?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. it
So
is.
I'm gonna turn the tables a little bit.
Okay.
What did it feel like when you guys heard about that? And for anyone that's listening that hasn't heard already, fill them in with that. And
Yeah.
then tell me like your reaction.
Yeah. Go ahead, Haley. Why don't you kick this one off, huh? El Rubio.
Well, shoot. We just found out a couple days ago from our boy Jefferson J, who was strolling through Ocean Beach, as he's apt to do, and he came across the exterior wall at Apple Tree Supermarket where they were in the process of painting a 2-story, perhaps 25-foot tall,
Gotta be like 30.
maybe 30
Yeah,
feet tall,
probably 30
possibly,
feet
of Fernando
Yeah.
Tatis Jr. of the photo that is depicted on the cover of MLB The Show 2021. And Jefferson starts talking to the guy, and they were near completion. He said, hey, if you look at the picture really closely, you'll see a wristband on his wrist, and it's on the cover, so you pretty much have to. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm wearing that hair tie right
And actually, the guy who owns the company just lives right up the street.
now. And he pulls the hair tie out of his hair, and
fires it up to
throws
the.
it up to the guy who catches it. Paul Menez, the artist, by the way, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get there. Don't worry about it. I'm doing it. And long story short, Jefferson, with a little friendly, comfortable influence from Jefferson J, the
Yeah.
artist, was keen to actually spray paint the hair tie on
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis
Yeah.
Jr.'s wrist on the mural, forever emblazoned in the annals of Ocean Beach history from here forward.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
dope, dude.
Yeah, the feet just I don't know. You got to start back to where how the hell do we even get hair ties into MLB's players' wrists
Yeah.
in live games?
Yeah.
Like that's really when we started seeing. I mean, we basically just sent blind packages for a while.
Yeah.
Then we got to connect with Matt Strom here, and he came on the podcast. He had a great time. He was down, for everything. Believer in the products too. He used the shampoo, conditioner. One of my classic favorite MLB moments actually in Longhair is Matt Strom just came off probably one of his best career games, and the next day he's off, so he's in the bullpen, and they're on TV. They do in the MLB, they interview guys who are playing or in the bullpen during the game.
Yeah.
So they're interviewing Matt Strom, and he's just at the bullpen. He's just watching the game,
or
in the dugout.
He's
Sorry.
right there
Yeah, he's in the dugout
almost on the field.
and he's just watching the game, and they're asking him questions. He's coming off this fire night, and they get into the hair. They're like, "Hey, so what's up with the hair, Matt? I mean, the flow is looking great, man."
Yeah.
And Matt just is like, "Oh yeah, I got to give props to these local guys, the Longhairs, hooked me up. Coming off a fresh wash today with their Epic Cleanse, ideal conditions. They're just down in Chula Vista, and they just got my main dialed."
Hell yeah.
Totally just seriously, it was amazing. That was one of my MLB highlights. The Tatis stuff has been incredible, that he's just we have this superstar on our team who all season last year wore his custom hair ties we made him, and then this season he's kind of mixing it up. He's wearing the Hola Muchachos a lot. We got some new custom ones coming for you, Tatis, so don't worry, get you back on board with that. But it's really all of the things that have ever happened like this in our business's history, and it's not just these players. There's been a lot of things. It's just affirmations that we're doing something that people care about, that is we're doing the right things, and it's not about the product. It's about what it all stands for and that community, and the whole these guys are just down because they're Longhairs. It's exactly what you said. You're down because you're Longhair. You're in the family. And it's anytime anybody with any cred or clout or professional ability mentions us or rocks it or whatever, it's just dude, hell yeah,
Yeah.
It's one of many thousands of affirmations that have come over the years. A bigger one and a one that offered a lot of excitement and pomp and stoke.
Yeah.
But it's one of many thousands. In the very early affirmations were comments on our blog or even on our social media, or we get 5 new subscribers to the email list. Just those little affirmations over time. It's just like weightlifting or really anything that's worth a damn, is it comes over a long period of time from sustained and continuous effort and energy.
Yeah. And intensity.
And most of those affirmations, usually they're all full spectrum. Sometimes they're always super exciting, even if it's a comment on the blog.
Yeah.
And he and I might be the only 2 people to read that comment, or whoever reads that blog post later on. But it was an affirmation dude, we're on the right track.
Yeah.
These guys are talking community. They're coming up with their own nicknames, their own things.
Yeah.
This is and all these thousands of affirmations that have happened over time. This is one more, albeit one of the most sick ones.
This one
up
is
there on the
sick.
wall, and it being an OB too,
That's
where we
forever,
have
dude.
roots,
Yeah.
and our field offices are located, of course. So
For me, I think one thing I was really proud of you guys, of you and Jefferson and Charlie, is that they documented this whole thing. Jefferson's just on the fly ability to record himself, have that whole interaction with the guy. The video wouldn't have the IGTV video we dropped yesterday, kind of the documentary of our angle of the mural. If he didn't do that video, it just teed it up so perfect. They're just starting. He's walking down. It's Jefferson. He has the hair tie. Why does he even have the hair tie?
I told him a week earlier. He didn't even know that Tatis was on the cover, or that our hair tie was on his wrist in that picture until a week earlier. And then he described that he only had that hair tie in his wrist because he had to reach into the bucket, and his last one that was sitting there because all the other ones were used or he lost them or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a series of coincidences and events that led to him walking up to them and even knowing that should be there.
Yeah.
And who knows, if it wasn't for Jefferson right there, the artist, I'd like to believe he was going to paint the hair tie on there no matter what, but sure as shit, Jefferson made sure that hair tie was going to be on that mural.
Yeah.
And
The artist
that's
could have
what
left
you
it
get
out.
when you have
Could've.
boots on the ground and you have guys out there looking out.
Yeah.
Operatives in the field.
Operatives in the field. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
I mean,
It's
this
so
guy
dope.
is seeing, Spencerino's been here on the team for not that long, but it feels like we've been here for years.
I'm that much of a
Honestly.
burden on these guys.
No, that's how much we love you and how much we feel, you're impacting the team. But this guy gets to really see all the people from all over the country every day, like literally read their names and their addresses. And, I had done that for years, and Gustavo's has done that we all still do it. We'll get in there, but he's really the main man putting out these orders right now at this moment as a fulfillment specialist. And when you do it, it's so weird. I told him even when he started, like, hey, look, this job, like this position you have right now, it's pretty repetitive. It's but one thing that's so fun about it is seeing where all these people are coming from, and it's like every one of those little labels you print out, it's like, why did this guy decide to buy this? Like, why did he get 3 black ties and 2 Olo Machachos and a hair serum? It's like, what was he really thinking when he was on the website? Like, and that kind of stuff is really fascinating, I think, for all of us here.
Well, you think, wow, this guy believes in it too, and it's every single name. I have that same thought. Like, who is this person?
Exactly.
And some of them are coming from like obscure parts of the world. One of them was coming from Mauritius. Most people don't even know where that is. It's an island off the coast of Africa. But he knows who we are, and he likes our ties, and he wants them. We have a lot of people coming from Israel. I had another one in Palestine. It's just there's people all over the world that believe in this thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah, one of my best friends, one of the guys I did business with. He I don't know how I noticed, because he's not like on social media and stuff, but like I think he saw a picture of me. Oh, you know what it is? One of my homies is doing the Pacific Crest Trail right now.
Okay.
And actually, he just started his long hair journey.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't seen him in 8 years. We were in the Marines together, and I hadn't seen him since I got out. So I drove. First, I saw him twice. I drove to Idlewild. And if you've never been there, it's gorgeous, man. My God, that place is beautiful, dude. I drove all the way out there to catch up with him. And then I bought him dinner, or he bought me, I don't know, whatever. Somebody bought dinner for somebody. And so we just hung out, and I hadn't seen him in so many years, and it was like nothing. Like I saw him last week. Yeah. And so I brought him hair ties. And I had actually gotten one of the, not the head wrap, but one of the headbands. Ones.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, look, your hair's like just under your ears. So here's this headband. It'll keep the hair out of your face while you're hiking. Here's a hair tie. And here's 2 hair ties, and I don't remember which ones I gave him, but because I have a grip of them, dude. I have so many now. But they're all like my children. It was like, which child do I give away? Like, oh my God. And so, what's funny though is he had made a trail friend, and that guy was having dinner with us too, and his hair he actually had long hair.
Okay.
And so I looked at him and I was like, and I grabbed one of the hair ties and I threw it at him.
You need this. You need this too, bro.
Yeah. And so I took a picture with him, and then I sent it to my 2 best friends, because they obviously also served with him.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh man. And then my homie, shout out to Iron Dan. Iron Dan. So he was like, damn, dude, your hair's getting long. And then he sent a picture of himself. He lives in Waialua. In Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so it's like him on the beach, like, okay, bro, he's fucking flexing on me, right? And his hair is like at that same kind of awkward stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, you're growing your hair? He's like, yeah, I'm actually thinking about just letting it grow. He's like, I've never had long hair. And so I was like,
Let it ride.
oh, well.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So, and he just had a birthday. So then what we did is me and then the third guy of our trio.
Yeah.
His hair is short because he works for Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a loser. I hope he listens to this. I told him, hey, why don't we hook him up with just a bunch of long, because they know about long hairs because I never shut up about it. And they also know I've done a couple of your guys' like shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said, why don't I, Dan's growing his hair out, so why don't we send him like a long hairs starter pack?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I told him, hey, go on the website, just pick out a pack of hair ties and a head wrap. because he's like a super like fitness guy. So you know, keep the hair out of his face, help with the sweat, right?
Yeah.
And so he picked out the gray one. What's the gray head wrap?
Kentucky coal miner.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And then he picked out some black ties.
Nice.
And then I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
That's not good enough for me.
Need a little more spice.
Exactly.
Spice it up.
But,
Spice it
see,
up.
but the funny thing is, when I bought my first pack, this is like way before I met you guys, right? I was just gonna buy the black ties because I was still kind of like, you know, unsure. And then I was like, what am I doing? Like, no. So I bought the Celtic braid ones.
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
And then I bought the it's like the psychedelic. What's that thing called? With
the kaleidoscope.
I bought those,
Yeah.
and then I bought shit, I don't remember those. I bought 3 packs.
Okay.
And then of course I've acquired like a
Yeah.
bunch since then.
Yeah.
As you should.
So I threw in some island vibes.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I got him a Pacific head wrap.
Oh, yeah.
So he's just got
Sick.
he's off to his first he's got his long hair starter pack is what I'm
Dude,
calling it.
excellent.
I love
And,
that.
and I
Excellent.
mailed them out actually a couple days ago. But
And we need to sell a kit on the site that's this.
Dude,
the
long hair starter pack. Do
Starter
it.
pack,
Pack.
dude.
do it. You heard
Another
it.
thing
You heard it
you
here
brought
first, people.
to the table, sir. My word.
Leave a
Absolutely
space
brilliant.
better than you found it.
Well, you did.
Absolutely.
Everyone listening, you know what? If you see garbage, pick it up. Leave
Yeah.
that place better than you found it.
Totally.
You know what I'm
Totally love
saying?
that. Love that.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what? You know what's funny? You say that about the garbage thing. I have this this subconscious thing happens to me sometimes, where if I'm walking on the sidewalk or the beach or whatever, let's just use the beach as example. There's a piece of plastic, and I like look at it, and I'm like, I gotta go pick that up, you know.
Yeah.
But I might be with my kids, and I go to them, and then I come back, I'm like, hey, now I gotta get it. This is my last chance. I get it.
Yeah.
I grab it, and I'm like, there's this part of my mind that says like, if I didn't grab that, something bad would have happened.
That is actually the textbook
Yeah.
definition of obsessive compulsive disorder.
But
Really?
no, I get it.
It is.
I get it because
is.
because like I do this morning walk, right? It's like almost exactly 1 hour,
Yeah.
and I see so much garbage
Mhm.
because it's by one of the malls.
Yeah.
You know where I live, so I think you know where I live.
Well, I
I
haven't
don't know.
been to your house, but I know the area. Yeah.
The area. And there's
Yeah,
a mall
yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
And so there's always like fast food wrappers
Right.
and other garbage.
Yeah.
And like I'm not one of those like this is my neighborhood
Yeah.
kind of people, but
God damn it.
but like I literally feel like oh man, like the earth, this
Yeah.
is garbage.
Totally.
You know? And there are actually trash bins kind of intermittently on this path
Yeah.
that I take.
Yeah.
So like I'll just pick up garbage and I make it part of my morning walk.
Yeah.
You know? And I literally feel like if I leave that behind, like the earth is judging me.
Right.
You know,
Totally.
like I am this parasite
bad karma coming.
on the back of this beautiful creature,
Yeah.
and I'm like complicit in in the garbage.
Yeah.
You know, so I
Yeah.
have to pick it up. I
Cool.
can't.
You know
That
what?
will literally ruin my day. If I
you know
don't
what?
pick it up.
You know
Totally.
what? I used to think I was so weird because I think the same thing. But here's my fear of the bad thing that will happen. I will lose some of my gains from the gym. Specifically, I will tear a bicep if I don't pick up that litter. So it's like, okay, God, I'm sorry.
Man,
Hey, whatever you got to,
Look,
it's good. It's all positive that they at least the mind is doing that. You know,
absolutely.
it all comes from a good
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another, the worst thing is litterers. Probably the second worst thing is the people who just put their shopping carts just
leave 'em.
anywhere
Yeah.
up on the curb or anything.
yeah.
Just another
I-
one that really drives me nuts.
those
What about
people-
whose dogs crap on your lawn.
Oh, that's the.
I know you're playing your
Oh,
long-term play on
dude.
that one.
People that don't put their cart back are toilet people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
trash.
They're
Right.
just garbage.
How lazy are you?
They're just
Yeah,
a bunch
It's
of
all
dumb-
about you. It's just like.
And then of course you have like the virtue signaling, like, well, what if I have a disability? And it's like, then I'm not talking about you.
yeah,
okay?
exactly.
But if
Yeah.
you're an able-bodied person and you're just a lazy slug,
Yeah.
and you can't walk 50 feet to put a cart back, it's like you're disgusting.
yeah, totally.
Lazy slug.
There's I believe in integrity,
Yeah,
and
And
it's
I-
like it's
and I
not
believe
your
in karma.
job. They actually pay someone to grab those carts.
yeah.
But like,
Come
you're
on.
such a slug and an inconvenience to everyone that like everyone else has to park somewhere else because you left that damn cart there.
Yeah.
Because you can't be bothered to put it back.
Right.
It's like, no.
Yeah,
thank you.
know.
and this is coming from someone who actually worked at a grocery store when they were in high school. If you don't put your grocery cart in the stall, you can go fuck yourself. All All right,
Oh no, I'm providing a job for the guy who go gets the girl.
Yeah,
that's extra work.
You are
Yeah,
making
why-
extra
shit.
work.
No, I have to do
Yeah,
that.
that's what I would say too if I was a
Plenty of
slug.
other shit to do if
Seriously.
I didn't have to go round up all the carts.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude,
I got to stock 5 shelves after I pick these
My-
cards.
Yeah.
my
So I'd
two-
rather just go straight to the stock.
Yeah.
My two
Seriously.
favorite words are integrity and tenacity.
Yeah.
Mine are
Integrity
fucking
is doing the right thing, whether people will know about it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why the shopping cart thing is such a good example of that.
Of
Because
integrity.
like, yeah, look, you can leave it there and no one's gonna probably say anything to you,
yeah.
Yeah.
or you can go put it back,
Yeah.
and still no one's gonna say anything to
Yeah,
you.
burn some calories.
Yeah,
Dude, you're
well,
going to spend like 5 calories putting it back.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
honestly, most of you probably could.
Use it.
Use it.
Yeah, you
So-
need that.
Integrity is measured when no one is watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the
exactly.
whole thing.
Exactly.
Love that.
But seriously, people, pick up after yourselves.
Yeah, and it's like, you think that cart boy is like, you think he wants to just go, no, he's getting yelled at by Karens,
Yeah.
and he's getting paid like $12 an hour.
And
like,
I'm
listen,
getting paid
man,
5 back.
do
then.
that guy a favor, put the damn cart away,
Yeah.
okay, and burn some calories, and walk away knowing that you're a dude or a person with integrity.
Fulfill
Right?
the social contract more than anything.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah.
The hey, I gotta give a shout out to a cart boy up in Bonita. A couple
Send it.
weekends ago, he's out there, he's getting the carts. You know, the cart guys, like, yeah, if they don't have to go collect all the random ones,
Yeah.
they already got a pretty tough gig with the carts, doing 50. They got, some
Yeah.
of them had a little automated, nice ones.
Like at
Some guys just
Walmart,
have the
yeah.
rope and they're
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah.
they're just sledding the all 50 carts back.
Armstrong.
You know,
Yeah.
they're
Power.
just like,
Yeah.
and it's a personal challenge too. Like, oh, I'll get 5 more fucking carts on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So this dude is out there. He's doing the carts. He's all this stuff, and he has his mat. He's probably like required to wear a mask or whatever. But he has it down, and he's just cheesing, dude, just smiling
Hell yeah.
to everyone. And
Yeah.
instantly, like, I park and I get out, and this dude just comes up. He's like, "What's up, sir? How you doing, man?" I was like, "Bro, what's up, dude? It's so good to see your smile, man." And I just like cheesing back to him. I had told my kids, "Wave at this dude. This is a good guy right here," And it was just like such a breath of just amazing fresh air from this guy who's just an employee at this place, not only doing his job, but putting out amazing positive energy into the whole parking complex. And I was like, I have not seen this for seriously, like,
Right.
for a while. Like, this just love to just interact. And it was awesome.
He probably just barely clocked in. That's probably why.
But it's like Bad Brains, man. You got that PMA, positive mental attitude.
Yeah,
sure.
You know?
totally.
And
No, he was
honest-
feeding off it, though.
Yeah.
He was getting juice from,
Yeah.
like, everybody else. And,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was great, dude. It was great.
Shout out to the
Anymore.
bag boys
Yeah,
and bag girls
Bonita.
of America, man.
Cart guy.
Appreciate
The
Bro.
cart guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's the same job. You're bagging groceries and bringing in carts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cleaning up the shitter.
Yeah, cleaning. Oh, man, have I got stories for you.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, dude, guys, we are about to hit the 2-hour mark
Wow, already,
here on the podcast.
Is this
yeah.
the longest one ever?
No, I think we had a 2-hour one a couple.
Oh, okay. I don't like
times
being
ago.
second best, but okay.
One of the lounges
This-
was
this-
2 hours.
I'm kidding.
okay.
I'm kidding.
This
I'm
is
kidding.
certainly
I've been in the
one
lounge.
of the better ones, I will say. Not that there are any that are shit, but this one was really interesting because, as I've been telling Rubio and Moreno, like, I was like, we need to get this guy on here. He
Yeah.
has got so much to give.
Okay, I have a kind of a final question on my end because it's kind of just been in my head since you've said it, and I think it can go along with just really a lot of the stuff we're talking about with pulling yourself out, being someone who's going to give when they walk into a room. But you had mentioned earlier about you struggling with PTSD, gaining 60 pounds, being lazy, whatever, making excuses, but then then getting going, applying for all these jobs, getting some momentum. People coming out of this year, maybe someone on this podcast can get inspired of like, what was it for you, or how did you change that mentality, and how did you, get yourself going and get over to the sheriffs, and how did you do it?
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question.
You've opened Pandora's box.
Okay, so I think that. Do you guys know who Pat McNamara is?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, look him up. He's a freaking badass human being. Just
Okay.
like if you like Jocko, Pat
Yeah,
McNamara is like just that is one bad man right
Okay.
there. Okay. And I didn't hear this phrase that I'm about to repeat from him when I was struggling,
Yeah.
but it is a great way to describe how I got myself out of that situation.
Okay.
Pat McNamara also dealt with a lot of these issues, and he did way more than I did in the military. Way, like, not even the same fucking sport, okay? Like, I was playing Pee-wee football, and he was playing NFL, okay?
Okay.
He said that he changed his life by having one good day at a time. And
Yeah.
that's, now that I look back, that's how I did it too.
Okay.
And I just decided I have a limited amount of time in this flesh existence, and I need, you know what? I don't know about tomorrow, okay? But today, do some fucking sit-ups, or, you know, go get outside, get some fresh air,
Yeah.
go apply to one more place,
Yeah.
okay? Do something,
Yeah.
but do something. Remember how I keep saying, like, leave a space better than you found it?
Yeah.
Like, do something to make yourself better today. It doesn't have to be, because a lot of people think about the end game,
Right.
and they say, oh my God, well, what's my goal? I want to be a millionaire.
Right.
Well, how do I make $1 million? So don't worry about making $1 million. Can
Yeah.
you make $1?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so think of it in that context. Break down the battle into these micro encounters. What can I do right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Watch a YouTube video. How do you do that skill?
Yeah.
One of my best friends, he's a data scientist now, and he learned how to code from YouTube. And then he just started enrolling himself in these like little online courses, and now he does it for a living.
Yeah.
Right? One little battle at a time. And so it's literally like, dude, this is life.
Yeah.
And you're gonna strike out, right? For sure. You're gonna fail.
Totally.
You're gonna have a hard time. And of course, there's like that stereotypical, like, well, you need the hard times to appreciate the good times. Of course, right? But like, adversity introduces us to ourselves, right? You'll never know what you're made of if it's all good. It has to be bad sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And so I learned a lot about myself and all those crazy things I talked about already. And then and I lost sight of it, right? And of course, from time to time, we lose sight of it, and I'm gonna lose sight of it again, right? But it's okay to be down, but it's not okay to stay down,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's literally like, okay, man, I'm having a hard time. What can I do, not to fix it right now, but
Yeah.
what can I do just one more step, dude?
Yeah.
Right?
Get
If
a
it's
little
ladder,
momentum
Yeah.
going.
get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I walk around the block. Cool, that's more exercise than I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Apply to one more job, or whatever your problem is, you know? And just little like that. Focus on the small battles, dude.
Yeah.
And you got to be patient. You have to, because we are these tiny little carbon life forms in this thing called the universe, right? We're so microscopic, dude. We're less than microscopic. And the universe has been here for billions of years, as far as we know. And so your life is this little blip on this massive radar. And you have to remember that it's not all about you. And if you can surrender yourself to the fact that ultimately you're not entirely in control, and not to say like, oh, just give up and whatever happens, happens, but like to understand that things are going to happen that you didn't account for, i.e. the pandemic, for example.
Yeah.
You didn't account for that. Who the hell knew that the whole world was going to shut down?
Right.
But if you leave yourself open to say, hey, things are going to happen that I didn't see coming, then you're more flexible and fluid to just roll with the punches and adapt and say, okay, this is my new reality. What can I do to start fixing it?
Yeah.
Or to get around it or get over it or go through it,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah.
And I say like, that's it. That's the majority of the battle, dude.
Okay.
You know?
Dude, great message.
And,
Love it.
One more thing. If you're out there and you want to be a long hair, or you're in that, like, dude, I've had so many people tell me like, like, oh, when are you gonna cut your hair? Like when or joke about like my long hair, or just straight up tell me like what are you doing? Like you're growing your hair out. And it's like you got to remember this standard of this grooming standard, or like like literally where you have to ask an employer like, what's your grooming standard? And it's like, you know what, dude, I wasn't consulted when this standard was created. Were you?
Yeah.
Right.
No. So who are you to tell me that this is unprofessional? You know what, dude, this takes more effort to maintain and be presentable than to just cut it off.
Right.
That's
right.
the truth.
And there are so many cultures like Chamorro people that or other native cultures that our hair was cut off of us. And that's just another symbol of the oppressor to tell me that I'm not allowed to look how I want. Right. So I tell people like, dude, if you want to grow your hair out, grow that fucking hair out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just it's another symbol. It's a resistance. Show them how we resist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
I'm telling you, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Try smoking with him sometime. And it's just
I'm good, brother. Thank you. I love cigars, man.
Okay. Big cigar guy.
Big cigar guy.
Yeah.
And I know we're trying to wrap here, but like, dude, the cigars, oh man. And but what I love about it is that you can get a guy and over the course of that cigar, you can just have this conversation that we had today.
Yeah.
And that's what we need, dude, is more people to listen instead of talk.
Yeah.
And reach out to someone and just, what is that guy about, dude? Because you never know. That might be your best fucking friend, but you might think he's your enemy right now.
Love that. Totally.
Met at the photo shoot. I was like, who the hell is this
Yeah.
douchebag?
Maybe, thanks for having me on, guys. This was a really great time.
Dude, absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing your story, your deep insights, your experience on life, your hair journey, your cultural journey, just everything. Dude, this is awesome. And we're so stoked that you are just riding on the train with the Longhairs, baby. In any way we can help you in your brand or anything there, you know, what is the Instagram? How could people follow you there and be ready for the relaunch?
Yeah, so my Instagram is tab_Jose. I'm not even gonna direct traffic to the business because I don't want to send people to a dead end.
Okay.
So
They can follow you on Instagram though.
follow
right
me
now.
on IG and they'll find out. When we're ready to
when
go,
it's ready.
dude.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, dude, any closing arguments, Spencer?
Closing arguments. No, I just, as I say, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, dude. Honestly, I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Yeah.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Yeah. By the way, this guy El Spencerino and I have become very good friends. And
Dude, that's
I have to
great.
Thank you guys for that.
Yeah.
Go follow on Instagram, tab_Jose. Most recent post featuring what appears to be 400.
Oh, that one.
45-pound deadlift for 3 reps with Spencerino in the background just pumping him on.
Yes.
Pretty impressive there. At the gym, the new workout facility
Yeah.
of the Longhairs.
The hottest place in the South Bay.
Better believe it. The only gym
Gains,
worth
gains,
going
gains.
to in the South Bay.
Yeah.
Just ask Gus.
Gus hates our guts right now. He was there for the next day.
Twig legs are just in extreme pain
Shaking.
today.
Good. That's good.
I told
That's-
him,
Just
that's,
trembling.
that's the weakness vacating
stick
your
with
body.
us. Stick with us. We're going to make you look like Machete. Okay?
Yes, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Longhairs, thanks for tuning in. Kick-ass episode. We're at 97, closing in on 100 podcast
100.
episodes. But one of our just phenomenal guests. Thanks a lot for hanging, man. El
Thanks.
Sicario.
Yes.
Probably the most
I got my-
gangster El
I'm
moniker
in,
I think
dude.
we've heard. You
Gangsters
definitely
El
got that
moniker.
one.
I'm
For
in like
sure.
sin. I got my L name. It's no turning back now, dude.
No,
Dude,
no.
you
Por
are.
vida. Por vida.
It's done.
In for life,
Por
I say.
life, ese. Por vida, loco.
All right, boys. Till next time.